Welcome to episode 10, Cigar Talk Toronto. And today we got a super special, infamous guest. And if you don't know who she is, you're gonna know now. This is Loretta Mallory.
I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers.
So let's give a good welcome. Loretta, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you
for
for
showing
having
up.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having
And,
me.
we're super happy to have you here. And you just released a new book called The Missing Link.
Mhm. Yes, it's actually Infamous Sis, The Missing Link.
Infamous
Yes,
Sis, The Missing
the book
Link.
is Infamous Sis. Yes.
Okay. Great book. I read it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've never read many books in my life. And this is one
Mhm.
I start to finish. So yeah, it had my emotions up and down.
Yeah,
It was an interesting read.
thank you.
So before we actually get started, it made sense today that we had the Hennessy.
I think the whole world's going insane. I fill my brain up with Zany and drink away the pain. I think the whole world's going insane. I fill my mind up with liquor and drink away the pain.
Absolutely.
What we're gonna do before we get started here is we're gonna have a shot at Henny for Prodigy.
Yes.
To get things going. And today we're going to be smoking some Escobar cigars.
Okay. Okay.
The relationship there, you know, Nas and Prodigy had a
Absolutely.
up and down relationship. Nas is co-owner of Escobar Cigars, so it was fitting we did Escobar and we did Henny today.
Okay. And just to let you know, I don't drink and I don't smoke, but I just have a little spring water and
It's
with
like
lemon
a
and
virtual
rock
cheers.
candy.
There we go.
Just to sweeten the mood, just to join
Cheers.
in.
So
There you
this
go.
one's for Pete.
That's for P. That's for P. Oops, sorry about that. Of course I would.
It's actually been a long time since I've had Hennessy. And I got a feeling that I'm gonna get a little buzz today. And we
That's
got a little
cool.
snack here, actually. So check out the snack, and I know you're gonna know what I'm talking about with this snack. But we got a little
Let's see.
dish of jelly beans.
Oh, you got the jelly beans. Oh, how sweet. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
if we need a
love
little
it.
snack while we're drinking, we got the jelly beans.
Love it. Love it.
And from now on, we're gonna keep the jelly bean dish on all our podcasts.
I love that. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. See, when they say it's the small things, now you really took it there.
You know what? Life is all about small things, and
Oh, wow.
you got to get to know, and you got to dig into things, and you got to figure out how to relate. And it's the little things like, you know,
Oh,
reading a
man.
book and a pocket full of jelly beans, and
Let me jump in, please,
yeah.
about those jelly beans. One of the reasons I really wanted to, P already wrote his book.
Yeah.
And, when he was asked why he wrote it, he said because he didn't want anyone else to tell his story, right? And I'm so honored to be able to, I know, I'm sorry, this is so emotional over jelly beans, but to
No,
be
it's
able
okay.
to
Take your time.
tell, so many people ask, have questions about Pops, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, man, he really loved that guy. Like anything you hear him say is about how much he loved him. And my thing is, if I didn't tell this story, it died with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, as we go deeper, the jelly beans, people will understand that. But I really appreciate that. Like, Nobody would understand how important you honoring him with jelly. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't even. That just threw me off. That really threw me off.
Well, hopefully
It
it threw
really
you
threw
off in
me
a
off
good way because
in a
Yeah.
great way.
Yeah.
No, it surprised me because it was so considerate. It was so considerate, you know?
well, you know what,
Wow.
I've been like a massive Mobb Deep and Prodigy fan from as far as I can remember. So this is very meaningful to me too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
you know,
appreciate you so much.
spread love, not war, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
it's good to dig deep and get into those meaningful memories, and that's what makes it genuine. And you know,
Yeah.
um, so this is actually not the first book you've written.
No, no, no. It's actually the
You
sixth book.
okay?
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
It's the sixth book, but the most dear to my heart. Yes.
what's your career exactly? I know you are a major in psychology, life
Yeah.
coach.
Yes. Yes, studied psychology. I am a life renewal coach, which, gets kind of deep. It's neuroplasticity is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's the brain's ability to change.
Okay.
So, what I actually, after Prodigy died, um, the layers of trauma I had experienced up to that point, and then when that hit, I was like, I literally said, I give up. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I'm already, I was grieving my daughter. I was grieving Mommy Fatima. I couldn't, it was already hard enough to function.
Yeah,
And, you know, um, I, I, I was like, I can't do it. There's no way. If you're already holding on by a string and somebody sets that string on fire, you know, and that's what it felt like losing him because we had each other. You know what I mean? We really had each other, like in a way, like the siblinghood. It's a different type of have each other.
Mm.
And but I have children. And I remember one day one of my younger girls, said, "Mommy, when we wake up tomorrow, can you please be up?" Because it was hard to come out of my room, like, you know, and I said to myself, I can't give up. I can't give up. I want to give up, but I said I have to research how to heal on a quantum level
yeah,
because I was like, I can't fake heal because if I fake heal, like, people go through the motions. And that's why you see people, like, go deeper, like even P's behavior, as a teen, he had a lot of issues, a lot of physical, emotional pain, so his behavior was a certain way. And you see his progression through life, right? So, he changed. So my thing was, I thought about it. I'm like, I know the brain. I'm like, I've studied the brain. I'm like, there has to be a way that I can heal and really heal. I mean, when we heal, we have scars. They still hurt, but they're not gaping wounds once they heal.
yeah.
So I started researching neuroplasticity, and it started working. I realized that, wait a minute, I'm healing. And then I said, well, you know what? I need to take the research. Like I did extensive research. I took courses online from Harvard, from UPenn. Like I really went in. And afterwards, I said, you know what? I'm taking this research and I'm going to put it in a book because I need to help other people. And it was extremely cathartic. It was cathartic for me, you know. So, and yeah, that was precipitated by um P's passing.
So, in writing your most recent book, Infamoussis, The Missing Link, versus, let's say, your pedal.
Pedal psychology.
What is, like, when you're sitting down, like, start to finish, like, what is the process in writing a psychology based book versus an autobiography?
So, um, the missing link, the process was very similar but different. This book came from a healed place.
Yeah,
So this was able to, so the first book, I'm writing it as I'm healing. The second book, it was more of a celebration. But if you notice in my writing, even in Infamous Sis, there is a psychology, it's psychology based because it's expressing, you're learning the psychology behind this child that became, this violent, wild, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
hardcore man. But then, because the way Peace fans love him, I felt like they needed to understand what is it about this guy that grown men talk about how they love this man, right? And, he comes from that violent street life, but there's just that undertone where you can tell he really cared about people. Why was he angry? Why was he like, he touched the people in the streets, you know what I mean? Because it's like they felt what he was feeling. But as he said, and you can never feel my pain, it came from a real place.
yeah,
It wasn't just, I'm acting like this because I want to emulate the street guys. No, there was a lot of suffering there. So I tied my psychology in this book. It's telling the story, it's explaining, you know, his process. It talks about his process, even as he matured, and as you saw, as he matured, it was, you know what, I did crazy stuff, man. I don't know why I was so wild back then, but, yeah, I did a lot of dumb stuff. But, he started telling the people to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Do the right thing. Take care of your families. Take care of one another. So it was easy for me to do that with the personal experience with him and the psychology background. It's to paint a picture like you don't, the critics in the past, I don't think they do it now. The critics looked at it like, these horrible rappers, where did they come from? How did they get there? You know what I mean? They didn't come out of the womb with guns and you know what
yeah.
I mean,
Guns,
rapping.
guns blazing. Well, P almost did come out of the womb with guns.
Well, okay, except him. Except him. But you get it. So I wanted to, and that's why what I said about the jelly beans, I mean, for those who don't understand, the reason it got emotion, it made me emotional is because what I was saying was Buddy's story needed to be told. Pop's story needed to be told. You know what I mean? And that psychology behind, like it always touched me how loving P was, right?
Yeah,
But in a heartbeat, he could snap and it was all real. But the psychology behind, like, where did that come from? What was he taught? Why was Pops? Because a lot of people, that's terrible. His Pops taught him how to shoot when he was 7. And it's true, right? He taught him a lot more than how to shoot when he was 7, but I'm just going to start with that. But, his brain was developing.
yeah,
His brain was developing. This is what he was taught. So it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult. I am, doing the special edition, updating the book, but it wasn't difficult to put that information together. It was beautiful. I feel so honored being able to tell that story and to tie in the psychology and, show him as the human being, you know.
yeah. And
So,
to be honest, reading Buddy's story as well, like that was very intriguing.
yeah,
I was, again, I don't read. I'm not a
right,
reader.
right.
Uh, I plowed through that book. It was like one of those things I sat down and just plowed through it. And I
Thank
like
you.
the way it's written because it makes it easy for people like me to read a book.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's like real, right? It's
yeah,
like, yeah, yeah.
So, like, why now? Why write the book now?
Why write the book now? I so when I started the Instagram page, it was purely because I didn't know what to do, right? And I'm just like, how people doom scroll, and I'm like, well, I'll just post, 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 I'll just post him. And something he wrote to me when he was in jail, he was like, Lo, he said, I'm concerned my fans are gonna fall off because I'm locked up. And I remember saying, Chaka, Chaka is the name our family called him. And I remember saying, Chaka, word on the street is you guys are like gods, little G. I said, you don't fall off with your fans. You're the people who love you love you.
Mm.
It's not based on, in entertainment, there's a saying, well, there used to be a saying, you're only as good as your last performance.
yeah,
And I remember telling him, you're not like that. I'm like, you are, you're like in Michael Jackson's category with his fans. They love him. It's a family. And I remember he wrote me back and he said, Lo, this is a sidebar. He said, Lo, you wrote me the letter. He said, I was reading the letter that you wrote me where you were comparing to Michael. And that's when I got the news that Michael died, right? So that's another story. But yeah, man. But so when I started the page, as I said, it was just for my own personal, it was just a personal thing, I'm just going to post stuff of him because I don't know, like I said, I was in such deep grief anyway. I don't know. There's no way to know how to handle that on a human, I'm a human, right? So I was just doing that, for myself. And over time, his fans showed so much love. And then they would inbox me. I've got so many inboxes where they're asking me questions, what would P, what advice would P give us? You know, what P raised me, P helped me so much. Please don't ever stop doing this because a lot of times I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore because I just don't want to, like I'd get discouraged, like, I don't know. But anyway, as time progressed, these last few years, these last so many years, there were so many people asking me so many things about him and his life. And then tie that in with the people I cannot stand that always want to show up and say, I hated this guy. He was an actor. And I don't know if you guys have siblings and all. You know how protective you get?
Oh yeah.
Like, even if you fight with your sibling, it's like, listen, I could push him down. You better not touch him.
yeah,
Exactly.
Right? Right?
Exactly.
And it made me so mad because, I'm a woman and there's men coming on saying, not a lot. That's the thing. Very few, but it still irritated me.
Mhm.
They want to say, he's an actor. He was an actor. He came from money. He didn't come from all the streets. He just made that was just his and it just really used to irritate me. It irritated me. And then I'm like, you know what? I started on my own because since I write, I probably have, I don't know, 75 to 100 unpublished books or that started, that I can just, whenever I want to, I can, you know what I mean? Say, hey, let me just pull
Yeah.
that out and work on it. So I had already, you know, um, did a lot of writing. I did a whole lot of writing um, about our life and the stories, and it just, made me feel good. And then, like I said, sometimes people, I can't go through all the inboxes, but, sometimes somebody will say something that really touches me. And I'm like, you know what? And I'll give them a little snippet of, they're like, what was P like at such and such age? Well, how did P feel about such as, and sometimes I would. And then I got a nudge from, I don't know if he wants me to say. So I'll just say somebody very close, somebody in camp
Okay.
that was like, you know what? You should do it. You should do it. And I'm like, I want to. There was a part of me that felt like, when it's your people, you kind of, you're caught in between, should I put this out there? Like, you don't want to do something that is Hollywood, or you know what I'm saying? You don't want to do something artsy, or I don't know. I mean, to honor them, yeah, but you don't want to do something that it's like I'm selling a product.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just feels, it's just an uncomfortable feeling for me at least. But then I was like I said, the between the fans loving up on him, between the nudge, between like still every day, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I can't get him back, right? I don't have him. That the bond was insane. I have to be here, right? So I'm like, I'm like, I think this would be great to let the world see him as that human. And then I prayed over it. I'm a praying woman. And I was thinking, I wrote about it in the book, Shannon, I'm sure you might remember this. There was a part that was saying, you know what, it's not only your duty, but it's your gift.
Mhm.
Because I was offered a gift. I don't know if you other guys have read the book, but the family had offered me a major gift when I was, a teenager, and I didn't want a gift. They offered me a gift for, um, um, I don't want to go into the whole story, but anyway, Big Bud, grandfather, had a heart attack. We were on our way to Miss Diana Ross. We were going to have dinner with her family and see a show, and he had a heart attack. I went to the hospital with him, stayed by his side. Long story short, the family offered me anything I want for staying by his side. And I didn't want anything for doing the right thing,
Mhm.
right? I did it from the heart. Like it was genuine. I never did. I never accepted anything. They were like, anything you want, money, gifts, travel. And I'm like, I don't. So Big Bud, um, he came to the house, which was a rare. He showed up and he says, I want to give you a gift. So I said to him, you know what, if you really want to give me a gift, I said, just write a song. He was a jazz artist.
Yes, yes.
So I said, just write a song for me, because I'm thinking, oh, that would be sentimental, right? So I don't know if he ever did because he passed away months later. So as I was trying to decide about this book, I'm like, you know what? This can be my gift. And it's twofold because it's my gift being able to do this. And then no, nobody else, there's no one else to tell their story, to tell this part of the story. There's no one else to tell what happened in that household. Everybody left, everybody's gone. There's nobody else to tell. There's so many missing gaps. I mean, so many gaps, I'm sorry. And Pete called me the missing link. He, Shane, do you want me to go on and go into this part, or do you want me to?
We were gonna get into that, but since you're on it, like,
yeah.
just
Okay. So he called me the missing link, and he said I was a missing piece of the puzzle of his life. So the reason for that, um, when he was locked up, I had, I don't know, you guys are probably pretty young. You're pretty young. So there used to be these disc cameras, these disposable disc cameras.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
So
Kodaks.
you remember
Oh
those?
yeah.
And all of the pictures,
I
the little, the negatives were
Thank you
connected?
for that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So I had about 35, 40 of those, right? Undeveloped. So while he was locked up, he was like, Lo, get those developed because it was us. It was, I was like, I remember, I was like, yeah, I'm like, it was us running around acting crazy. It was us at the beach. It was us at our events. And he was like he was on me, like, Lo, get them developed. He's like, I want that in my book. I want those pictures in the book. I want that. I wanted that part in there. So I helped him with a lot of the stuff in the book. A lot of the inserts in his book were mine. I mailed them to him. But those pictures at that point, that was what, 2011-ish, I think.
Yeah.
When he was 20, let me see, my Leon passed in 2010. So like somewhere between 9 and 11, something, I'm not quite sure. But there was only one place in the United States that developed those anymore. Like the stores didn't have nobody, like the internet, everything is different right now. You can probably find anybody to develop anything you want, you know. But at that point, I was telling him, I kept telling him, I'm like, well, Chaka, there's a 6 month to a year wait because there's only one place. I don't remember where it was, Connecticut, somewhere. I'm like, they want me to send them to them, and then there's a 6 month to a year wait because they have such a wait list of people who have their old, disc. So he kept. All of a sudden, he just stopped writing and calling me. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm like, is he mad at me? He was really mad at me. He was mad because what he kept saying, you're the only one with that part of my story. He said, Lo, like even us, in jail, you got a lot of extra time.
Yeah.
So it was the memories that were coming up. There were so many memories. And he was like, you're the missing piece of the puzzle. He said, I blacked out so much of that because, of course, there was traumas that I didn't, there's stuff that I couldn't write about. It's not my business. But, there was so much. And he was like, I blacked out so much of that in my life. So when he published the book, he wasn't even speaking to me. And because he was like, gonna put a big shout out. Then he put this little shout out in his book. But then afterwards, he wrote and was like, Lo, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry. I was really mad. And he's like, you know how I get. I'm a, what, sometimes. He's like, but I'm trying to change and da da da. And it was all good after that.
Well, he seemed like he came out a different person.
Very
Even his
different.
music completely changed. It was
Hmm.
more aware. It was more educational in terms of how the world operates, and we're gonna ask about that in a little bit. But
Absolutely.
his and that's where you say like the core fans stand by him because his music completely
Yes.
changed.
Yes.
It was completely
Yes.
different when he came out.
Yes.
So while going through and writing the book, was there anything that was outstanding? Anything that surprised you while diving in your own memories, or like fan interactions or anything like that?
So yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing, one of his friends from you know, like I said, one of his inner circles, someone from inner circle. And I wish I had spoken with him first because I don't want to just, throw people's names out there. But I remember he was confiding in me. He was like, when peace started coming around, he's like he used to sleep a lot. And he'd just be at my house, and he'd be sleeping all the time. And my mom was like, is he okay? And I'm like, I started thinking about it while I'm writing, and it hit me. I was like, yeah, that was the time we all separated and everybody's life changed. Like we went from this, I don't want to say big happy family as far as like, we weren't leave it to Beaver, But it was we had a really good setup, very good dynamic. And my life changed. I went to Philly. Philly, and then it was like during the crack era, and I'm looking around like, what's going on? And our parents divorced. Um, everybody was just all over the place.
Yeah,
My brother Leon went into the military. Everything was just different. And it hit me because I was always like, okay, yeah, Chaka, we learned some tough stuff, like, great tough stuff, but I'm like, boy, he really went in a direction that, like, he was angry. He was always angry. But that, like, writing it, it shocked me once I heard that information from Queensbridge and I tied it in to our real life. And I'm like, that makes sense. You know what I mean? He had great work ethic. He had great talent. So he was able to take all of that pain and frustration and, you know, pivot in an entertaining way.
yeah,
It was all real, but it just hit me when the part where he said, when he wrote me and was like, he said, Lo, he said, did you ever think about the way I used to come home from school and F with you? That was my thing. He's like, did you ever think about the way I felt? I come home from school one day, I kick your door open to bother you, you're not there, and you never came back. He was like, I was a little kid. He was like, did you even think about that? And this is a grown man locked up saying this. So, I'm giving you like a vulnerable side of him, you know, but I cried, man. I know it seems like silly, but that I was like, you don't think about these things. You don't think and he's like, nobody ever said anything to me. He was like, then the next thing you know, I didn't write about this in the book, but he's like, next thing you know, Damien, our dog, he's like, Damien died. He's like, mom and pop's fighting, arguing. He was like, everybody in the house mad, you're gone. He was like, and then they divorce. He's like, and then, just a lot of other personal stuff. But yeah, that that hit me. Like writing this book, I'm like,
So what
you
would
know,
you
it,
say is like the best part of you and his relationship?
I think the best part of our relationship was the fact that it had nothing to do with entertainment. It had nothing to do with clout. There's so many people, not so many people, but the people that, well, I never heard of you, or just that kind of stuff. That wasn't your business. I wasn't your business. I was his sister.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't want us around. He didn't want us around, you know, the industry anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But a lot of people said they didn't know. They're like, yeah, he never talked about his family. I'm like, yeah, makes sense. But yeah, the best part was the way we had each other, and it wasn't for clout. It wasn't about entertainment. We didn't. It wasn't like um, you know, out in the open, like all over the place. When do you guys remember the message board he had in the
infamous
beginning,
stores.
the infamous stores? Yes.
Do you remember too? I think when murder music came out, they had this hotline that you could call and they would tell you
Yes.
street stories.
Isn't it crazy?
Pretty
Well,
much.
the fun thing that has to do with like our relationship and that website, when my brother Leon was like, at one point, he's like, yeah, I've been trying to, because Pops had told me he was in federal jail and he's like, or prison, whatever. He was writing, he's like, Chaka's doing really good. He's in his music and blah, 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 and he's doing good in New York. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. So then once things really started progressing with Mobb Deep, my brother Leon, he was doing music in Germany, and he says, "Yeah, I've been trying to get in touch with this knucklehead. He won't even get back in touch with me." I'm like, "He's busy. He's got a lot going on. He's fighting with Tupac right now. You know what I mean, right?
Awesome.
So, you know, and he goes, then he calls me, my brother calls me from Germany. He goes, I got in touch with Chaka. I was like, oh, that's nice. He goes, you know what he said? I'm like, what? He said, where the f is Loretta? I was like, I was like, really? So he goes, yeah, he has he told me about the message board. So I was like, okay. So I wrote something on the message board. And it was so sweet. He immediately put it on the front page, big red letters, what I wrote. And then we talked, then we got back in touch again because we always, time and
Yeah.
life and family. But yeah, that was really sweet. It was really sweet how another part of it, how, to be honest, nobody really got me like him. Nobody really got me like them, like him, like the kind of respect he had for me and the kind of trust he had in me, like we really were able to communicate in a way that, like, I don't know if I'll ever get that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it, it
Sounds
was
like
it was beautiful.
it sounds like a very organic relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You could tell too, because reading the book, it's as like, god damn, like he was a menace. Like,
He was so bad.
like,
I
oh,
didn't
like
tell it all.
I'm reading the book and I'm just like, holy yeah, like he was trouble. But
Yeah, he was.
it's funny because he would torment the hell out of you and then just be like, Loretta, I'll fuck someone up for you, right?
In a heartbeat. In a
And
heartbeat.
like I don't want to say too much about the book because I want everyone to buy the book and read it for themselves. But like he was, you see the stories that you say in the book and then you compare it to like the way he talked in his interviews and his music, and you're like, he never changed from child to
Absolutely.
all the way through the fame and everything. He just stayed, true to the core.
Same old G.
Yeah. Yeah, he really he was born into it. Like it was not a joke. Like none of the things, that's what I'm saying. The things that he sang about, the things he talked about, it was real. It was as real as it gets.
Like
Like yeah.
it's I don't want to say too much, but like just like the act of, and I gotta talk because this one had me like just dying laughing when Buddy told Leon to go and shovel the driveway. And then when he was done shoveling the driveway, P and his friends went and put all the snow back in the driveway just to set him up and make it look like he didn't shovel the driveway. Like
Yeah.
I was just dying laughing at that.
He was, I told the good stories. He was a piece of work.
Mhm.
Did he always like? Was he always like rhyming when he was younger, or did that just come up out of nowhere to you?
You said, was he rhyming?
Yeah, like rapping and stuff like all
So,
the time.
so when he was younger, he didn't so much. It was, he was so much into entertainment. He was in the studio, dance studio with the family. He was around music all the time though.
Okay.
He was around the greats. He was around, I don't remember if it was like Duke Ellington or Dizzy Gillespie. One of those was actually Buddy's godfather. One of the jazz greats. So
Mhm.
he was always around Quincy Jones and
Hmm.
Diana Ross, all of the great entertainers. So he was very, cultivated, right?
Yeah.
Right on.
So, but when I left home at first, he was still stealing my Michael Jackson belt. We're fighting over, this, that, and the other, right?
Mhm.
When I came home at one point when he was like, I'm not really talking to you, I guess it was like, he was smelling himself. No, I came home and literally heard like Run DMC and LL every day coming from the basement.
Okay.
That's where their room was. And, so he started as a young teen,
Yeah.
like really, he was really inspired by them. He was, like I said, he was inspired by the entertainment he was around anyway.
Mhm.
And he went to private school. So, he had a lot of good ethic, work ethic, and, writing and everything. But after that, that's when he really started. When Run DMC and LL came out, he was really inspired by them. I mean, seriously.
But even as a young teen, a lot of people don't know that he was actually on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack.
I know. Yes. Yes.
I think it was too, what was the name of the track?
Um,
Too young or something like that.
I don't remember the name of it, but yes, he absolutely is. Yep.
Long
Yep.
before he was the Golden Child and
Mm-hmm.
Prophets and Mobb Deep, he was on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack.
Yeah, he actually had a lot of opportunities that he turned down because he was, like I said, he was getting at that age where it's like, I don't want to be no tap dance kid. You
Mm.
know, like Alfonso Rivera got the role that I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually offered the role. I believe tap dance. I think he was offered, I don't remember how it went. And like I said, I'm not going by like books and stories and all. I'm trying to go by, actual memory. But I know he was offered some stuff and he started getting a little too like, nah, no, I'm not doing it.
Well,
I'm not.
you know what stands out too is that he was actually offered a deal solo when around the time he hooked up with Havoc and Mobb Deep, and
Yes.
it's Mobb Deep or it's nothing.
Right. Yeah. He stood 10 toes when he meant something, he meant it.
Yeah,
And the chemistry between him and Havoc, he really felt that. He knew it was a real thing.
So was Havoc like a friend from like childhood, or when did he come out meeting him?
They met in I believe they met in high school. I mean, they were children,
art and design, correct?
world age children, but they were, young men because of, their where they were in life. But yeah, they were in art and design school and they met. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's actually where another artist that Pete collaborated a lot with was Elegy, and that's where they all met with art and design.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
the stories of Pete lighting the auditorium curtains on fire,
I'm
like
not surprised.
My boy was just
Wow.
bored, man. My boy was just bored.
he was
Yeah,
yeah, if he said it, he meant it, and he was gonna do it.
he did.
And
It
you know what?
was,
That's
I respect that.
even though some of the actions may not have been, as an adult looking back, like that was a wise choice. It's respectable because as a man, you have to stand on your word, and that's what.
yes.
If you dig beyond that, that's what it teaches you as a man. You stand on your word. You say it. You mean it. You do it.
Mhm.
Yep.
And he's
Yep.
the
That was him.
perfect example of that. Whether it
Hmm.
be lighting the curtains on fire or putting in the countless hours of work and no vacations, like when you're in, you're all in.
Yes. Yep. That was him.
So, what was, out of curiosity, what was your last phone call like with Pete?
Intense. Um, so I lost my daughter March 6th of 2016. I mean, I'm sorry, March 5th of 2016.
And sorry, I'm going to stop you right there. We're going to take a shot for Brittany right there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And
Yeah.
you had a lot of losses in your life, and we're going
Yeah.
to ask you a question about that. But
Okay. Yes.
while
Yeah.
we're on the topic, we're going to take a shot for Brittany.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And
I appreciate that.
we'll do one for Leon. Leon, we'll do one for Buddy. We'll do one for
Thank you.
Fatima.
Thank you.
We got a lot of shots to do in this one. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Cheers.
Tough. Thank you so much. My little water. Um, so um so since I lost her on the 5th, the last time, I saw her live, of course, was the 4th, right? So, that December we lost Mommy Fatima. Um, March 4th of 17, my phone rings from a number I didn't know, changed his number a couple of times. So I was still, it was the night before the first anniversary of her passing. That's the reason I gave you that, right?
yeah,
So I get a call, and I wasn't, like I said, I was in a very, very, very not good space. And so I answer the phone. I'm like, yes. And the voice says, "What's up, Loretta?" I'm like, "Who is this?" He goes, "What do you mean, who is this?" It's Chuck. And I said, this was not our normal exchange. I said, Chaka, I love you. He's like, yeah, I love you too. I said, no, I need you to hear this. I love you. I really love you. He goes, I love you too, sis. And he says, I was asleep. He said, I took a nap. And he said, you know how you wake up and you look at your phone and you're going to return like phone calls?
Yeah.
He said, and something said, call Loretta right now. And we talked for 3 hours straight, 3 hours straight about things we had never talked about. We talked about everything anyway, but we had we talked about some very personal things. We talked about I was saying to him, you know, Chaka, the world, something changed. I felt like something changed in 2012. Do you remember when they had like the doomsday scare?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2012. And he says, Lo, he said, when I came out of jail, everything was different. He said, everything. And I think that was what, 2010, 2011-ish. He was like, when I came home from jail, everything was different. And we talked about, we talked for 3 hours straight, just hashing out everything. We had we had a lot of plans. We had a lot of tears, a lot of tears. Because I don't know if like it's never been addressed. I guess like who would address it?
Yeah.
You know, the deep grief he was in, after, just imagine losing his only other parent at that point. He was in an extreme grief, so but we talked. It was extremely heartfelt conversation.
Do you have, in regards to your relationship, and I know it's kind of, I'm a firm believer what's meant to happen is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But in your gaps of no communication and just your general relationship with P, do you have any regrets at this moment in time?
Yes, yeah. So I don't understand, but I respect when people say they have no regrets. I respect it. I don't understand it because, on an intellectual level, I know what people mean, but I have regrets.
Mhm.
I regret thinking we had time. I regret not being overbearing in his life because, like, when Mommy Fatima and I would talk, it was like we would intentionally say how we intentionally stepped back because we didn't want to be all up in his, like, let him do his thing,
Yeah.
right? I regret not being overbearing and embracing and just holding on and being right there because, you think you have time and you don't know when you have time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think that was our last conversation. Something in
No.
my heart may have, because why am I saying, no, I love you? No, like, there's no reason. We might talk and then we're getting off the phone. It's like, okay, I love you too.
Mhm.
That's, but you know what I mean? So yes, I have regrets. I do. I have
That
regrets that
last conversation was only, you say that March, April, May, so it was only 3 months before P passed.
ridiculous.
But it was meant to
Yeah.
happen, right? For some
Yeah.
reason, he made that phone call and you were meant to have that final conversation. And, regrets or not, at least you had that opportunity to have that in-depth
Very thankful.
conversation,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Very
And
thankful for that.
that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. No
So
one can take it away. Yeah.
if you could have one final conversation with them, what would that like look like? What would that be? Would there
Excuse
be
me, if I could have one
one final
conversation.
conversation with them? What would that kind of look like? What would that be if that's not too personal?
I don't know if I know how to answer that because
It's all right.
I don't know how to answer it because would it be, are you saying like if I knew then what I know now, or if I could just, you saying like if I could just reopen the door and get it in? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, like if you were
Oh,
if you were to say I could have one more conversation with P right now, what would I want to talk to him about? What would I want answers to, or what would I need enlightening about, or what would I want to share with him?
Or what feelings do you want to like instill in him? Like, hey, like, you know, we're organic. We're, it's not as superficial.
I think we already told each other that a million times. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
we already told each other that a million times. I don't know that it may sound strange. I don't know that I would want to even say I could have, if I could have one more, because I think even the thought of that, and I know this is just in theory, but even the thought of that would just be reopening a wound that would now be open again, and I'd have to, reheal it.
Yeah,
Heal
So
again.
so yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but I know I might be getting too deep with that, but yeah, I don't.
well, I think like the question kind of stems from, with P's views in the world and
Mm,
the government and stuff, like everything that we've gone through since he passed, like even
yeah,
myself, I
yeah.
found myself saying, man, we could really use P right now.
Now, on that note, I can answer that. So not, so on a personal, my having the conversation, because I've already had, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
already know what our conversations entailed. So I can answer that if the world wanted to have, you know,
hmm,
at this point. So if you want to ask it a certain way so that I can answer it appropriately. So what you're saying is,
what I'm saying is he was very outspoken towards the system, the government,
hmm,
Illuminati, et cetera, et cetera.
yes,
And given the past few years, COVID and all that stuff, and the extent of surveillance, et cetera, like
yeah,
I really think we could have used his voice
yes,
time.
yes,
And I think he would have been completely in shock and awe of what was really going on. Because he kind of, if you listen to his rhymes and his interviews, he kind of warned everybody what was happening.
he did. Yeah. So you're saying what would he like if the world could have conversation about this stuff?
Yeah, with
What
P,
would,
like
yeah.
what would he
The
say about everything going on? Like,
so the great thing about that is he said it already. He'd be shocked, but he'd be not too shocked because he's actually spoken about the majority of everything that's going on.
yeah,
If you really go back, he has touched base on it. He's touched about vaccines. He's touched about the government. He's touched about, so the advice, because I do get this inbox a lot,
yeah,
because the times are really tough and people don't know and they trusted because as you said, as a man, he stood on, what he said or what he did. So one thing I can say, well, a few things. He's always said, and even with our conversations, it's you can't control the machine. I mean, just being honest, right?
yeah, yeah,
You can't control the machine. You can't control the powers that be. You can control yourself, right?
Mhm.
You do the best that you possibly can. You can be good to your family. You know what I mean? You can have ethics. You do what you're supposed to do. You do what you're purposed to do,
Mhm.
right? Like I said, we're not going to be here forever. Now, he's always said this. Well, with the sickle cell, he never expected to live long anyway.
yeah.
He lived much longer than he thought. So, but we're not going to be here forever anyway. You do the best you can. You be the best person you can. I call it cracking the code. He didn't use these words, but we were on the same page with this. I call it cracking the code. But he just said, you work, how can I put it? If there's a machine that you can't control, then you work around it to do the best you can for the people that you can't help anybody if you're all messed up, if you're not here, right? So you do what you're able to do, what you're purposed to do. They are they, whoever they are, right? They're here. They do whatever they do. If you know I'll say it like this, if you know they want you or whatever, don't put yourself on a platter and hand it to them.
Yeah.
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 You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he said, you choose a side.
Mhm.
There's evil, there's good. You choose a side. We're not going to be perfect. We're human beings, right? But you choose a side and you do the best you can with whatever the circumstance is. We can't, you know, we can't beat, people try to beat the system. You can beat the system in little ways or whatever. I'm not speaking on that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm talking about the system, the
yeah,
system. You can't just beat them because, you're a human. You're fallible. You're not going to be here forever. You hurt, you die, whatever. So the power is in doing the right thing to the best of your ability, pulling your families together, pulling your circle together. Be ethical. Be as ethical as you can. Be positive. Strengthen yourself up. Eat right. Stay hydrated. I mean, this is really like he literally wrote down. My younger daughter was sick at one point. He literally wrote down an entire diet for me, for her, and she went into remission. Like, so it's those type of things that you might not think is a big deal. You do the best you possibly can. They are them. The system is the system.
Yeah.
The powers that be are the powers that be. That doesn't mean you give in to them. Like I said, you don't just say, oh, well, it is what it is, but you
mhm,
strengthen up. You don't give up your rights. You strengthen yourselves. You don't give up your weapons. We have a right to own weapons, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself. He didn't say, go be like he was as a kid, and just everybody pow pow stabs, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's like, you know what I mean? It's be smart, use your mind, educate yourself. These are the things that he was really serious about. Educate yourself, learn something, listen, pay attention, be smart,
Mhm,
you know, while you're here. Do
yeah.
what you got to do.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna intertwine two questions into the
go
same
ahead.
thing. Feel free to say no comment on the first one.
Absolutely.
And even if you want no comment on the second one. So speaking about what you were just saying, P was extremely, even from the beginning of, from the infamous album, he was more subliminal with the shots at the Illuminati and the government,
Mm-hmm.
but more so towards the tail end. He was very bold in your face. There's a huge community out there, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I don't buy the fact that he choked on an egg. And number two, from your perspective, do you think there's merit to the fact that there's a bit of a cover up there? And two, Hegelian Dialectic came out in January of 2017. He passed in June. That album was 100% direct attack the government, the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish, or do you think, regardless of circumstances or influences, do you wish he toned it down, the direct attack at the government, or that's just he was going to do it and that's what it was and that's what it is and that's the way the story was meant to play out?
Okay, so with the first part, when you said cover up as far as, can you please be clear? Do I?
So So the life expectancy for sickle cell is in the 40s, correct?
Okay, so you meant his life. I just wanted to be clear with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his
Okay.
life. So the life
Yeah.
expectancy for someone with sickle cell, and he had the most extreme case of sickle cell.
Well, he didn't. His I won't. His cause of death, remember, wasn't sickle cell.
Exactly.
I mean, well, his documented cause of death wasn't sickle
Exactly,
cell
right.
anyway. So that's, yeah,
So had they come out and said, "Oh, he passed from sickle cell complications," I think that would have been more believable than he choked on an it.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, and I believe one of the last people, Mr. Bars, Bars and Hooks,
Yes,
he did an interview. He straight up said they murdered Pete.
right.
So, and I have a saying, they couldn't silence him, so they silenced him.
I hear you. Okay, I just wanted to be very clear with that, with what you were asking.
Yeah,
Okay, so as far as, excuse me, as far as do I wish he had been, you know, um, he had toned it down. As we said earlier, he was who he was, right? Very hard to tone him down. If he really felt a way about something, he was going to do it.
Mhm.
Now, when I talk about the way he evolved, one of the things I admire so much about him is how he cared about people, right? And I don't know whether or not you know, but since he came out of jail, he was vocal about some things that people don't talk about him being vocal about. He tweeted some really serious things about some horrible, atrocious things that are happening. He didn't care about repercussions.
yeah,
On one end, I do remember him saying, this is with Alex Jones, he doesn't think the theys care anymore.
I
But on
remember
the
that. Yeah, he did give an
yeah,
interview. Yeah,
but the other side was you tie in the fact that, as I said, he never expected to live long anyway. And he was very serious about, like, I can't say this as a fact, right?
yeah,
Maybe he felt, I'm just saying, maybe he felt that his number was up somehow. Maybe, I don't know that, right? But one way or another, it was, I'm not leaving without saving somebody else, without getting this information out. But he said before he went to jail, so that just think how many years before, he said before he went to jail, when he came out, he was going to let it be known what he knows.
yeah.
So I don't know. So as far as cover up, um, to be honest, um, what I think doesn't matter, in the grand scheme of things.
Mhm.
But I know I look at him as a hero of sorts because, like his lines, his songs come out, like he said, he's taken his enemies with him, and if not, they're scarred, so they will never forget him.
Yep.
They won't, I feel like, this is being transparent. I feel like his legacy is trying to be like swept under the rug. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I
I
do.
believe so.
I
Yeah.
do. I don't appreciate that, but you know,
And,
you
and
know.
and that's why, for example, like with us, we're creating a platform here, and even though it's about cigars and drinking
Yeah.
and conversations, like, so when we create a platform, we want to share what's important to us as well. And we're using our platform to share that.
Yeah.
And this, for
Thank
for
you.
me, this is a very personal, important thing to share.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And you talk about, you don't know if he felt it was his time was coming. Have you ever watched his last interview? I believe it was with the therapist.
Yes.
That was eerie. Like there's something about that interview when you watch it back again. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
you just get this vibe like he knew something and he
Of
needed to get
course.
everything
Yeah.
out
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I've watched all of his interviews and that was the one that like I can't watch it at night because it just creeps me out.
No. Yeah. Even our conversation, our last phone call, like I said, it was very different. It was very different. Yeah, but like I said, I mean, we could guess and think and figure. We don't know for a fact
Yeah,
that maybe he felt that way, but we know he felt something. And when I say that, I don't mean it on like a conspiracy level. I'm saying there may have just been that, like I'm saying, I don't know that he's saying, "Oh, I know, somebody is after me." I don't mean that, right? I'm saying he may have just on a deep spiritual intellectual level felt like, you know what, it's time,
yeah.
no matter what happened, one way or another. We don't, you know, can't say.
Even in hindsight, like there's stories about there was an interview I seen, and apparently there was some white guy with long hair that looked like Jesus walking through Queensbridge looking for him, knocking on doors.
Mm-hmm.
Prodigy.
Right. Yeah.
Like it just seems like he was, you could almost say a prophet, so to say.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. He had excuse me when I back up because I just, I want to be fair also and don't want to
No, that's
yeah, get certain personal. But he had a spiritual encounter when he was in prison. So, that's one of the reasons, like you may have noticed, um, like you said, when he came out, he was very different.
yeah,
Yeah, he had something, some kind of uh, spiritual shift, I'll say. And as like you said, I mean, when you look back over his life, it was in there already.
yeah.
Excuse me. You know what I mean? It was just, he was a product of his life and his experiences and, you know, um, but yeah, yeah, that last interview, I don't watch it. I watched it. When I see clips of it, I don't even look at the clips because the look in his face was very disturbing.
Most
Not,
definitely.
of course, the words. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
It was eerie.
it was very eerie.
Oh, very, very,
Yeah,
very. Yes, very. But the thing is, think about that. Think how many people, would cower. And maybe cower is not a nice word, but how many people would be afraid with that kind of heaviness on them
Yeah,
and then just be silent. That wasn't him. That wasn't him. He's like, if I gotta go one way or another for whatever reason, if I have to go, I'm going to save some people. I'm going to leave some things. He left a lot. He left a lot. I mean, it's not,
yeah.
you don't see it pushed. You don't see it talked about a lot. He left a lot for the people. He left a lot.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
speak on the origins of HNIC? How that came about?
Oh, yes. So, um, BJ, who's the grandmother, she owned Bernice Johnson. She owned, well, it's still there, I believe, Bernice Johnson's dance studio. She was the first Black woman to own property, first Black woman millionaire to own property in Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
And, she would always say, oh, these people, they just don't like the fact that, she was very proper, very elite. She's like, oh, they just don't like the fact that a nigger owns all of this property. She goes, and I tell them, well, I'm the head nigger in charge.
hey,
Hey,
And she
yeah,
always said it.
let's take a shot for that one too.
hmm
We gotta do a shot for that one. That was
But
one of
she'd
the
always say that. Yeah, she'd always say that. So I thought that was, so cool that he went on and took that to the next level.
So we're gonna do our quick shot here for that one. Salute.
Mhm.
Hey, boss lady.
So you refer to yourself as the HMIC.
Yes,
So
yes,
salute to that for carrying the tradition.
yes, thank you.
P and Buddy were very into guns, clearly.
Yes.
The United States has, the 2A. Do you believe in the Second Amendment? And second question, did you ever get that Uzi?
I definitely believe in the Second Amendment. I absolutely do. If there were no guns, I mean, if there were, if we only heard of that there are three things that are called guns that exist, okay, whatever. But they're here. We should be able to have them for protection. We
Yeah.
should be able to.
Of course.
So that's that. Did I ever get the Uzi? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe, but I did. I don't know if you recall my little toddler
I recall that one. Yep.
found one of Buddy's Uzis years later. But maybe.
Okay.
The whole story with Buddy is everything that happened was, do you need an Uzi? Do you need me to fuck somebody up?
Oh my gosh. He would just, and it was all the time. Teenage girls, they get so emotional and the mood swings. And anytime he didn't see me like perky or smiling, because I was like usually upbeat, but had a lot of the moments. And what's the matter, baby? It's like, you want me to get you an Uzi? Hey, look around. Want me to fuck somebody up? But I don't know how many times my mother would stop talking. That would be so funny. But I would laugh. But I don't know,
So
maybe I got it.
everything that Buddy taught you, and in that time frame of your life, do you wish you had instilled that more in your life at an earlier age?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I was just, I was very naive, very, very, I don't know. I was very naive. And even my own mother wasn't even like that. You know what I mean? So it frustrated her, frustrated Buddy. It didn't frustrate Buddy, but well, at times it did. But yes, I do. I do. I wish I was tougher. Like my children um aren't soft like I was.
Mm.
Yeah, they're sweet, but no, I'm not. I would never. I don't tell anybody. I tell people like even with the gentle parenting,
Yeah.
you know, like I understand it. There's some facets of it that, are great, but I let people know you're setting your children up if you send them out in this world. It's not that you don't love them, but you can't send, this is not a world. I had to after losing Brittany and Chaka, I literally had to, let me think, my girls were my youngest were like 7 and 8 or, right around that age. And they were raised as little princesses. All of my kids were raised, so loving and gentle at first. But I remember the day I had to let them know, I'm like, listen, the world is not full of rainbows and butterflies. I raised you guys this way, but there are going to be some really tough things that happen in the world. So, like I let them hear, well, the younger ones are 16 and 17 now, but, and they're still prim and proper-ish, but as I tell people, they are the epitome of don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish early on in life I had um, paid more attention, but it helped when I needed it to help as I got older. But no, I would have been, I would have had those black Reeboks, and I would have had Uzis in different colors, and
Have you carried what he taught you as, well, we'll say a mature adult now? Have you carried some of what he taught you and put that into your parenting?
absolutely all of it. All of it. They know this. Well, okay, I can't say all of it. I'm nobody. I'm not. I don't know.
You're not
Wait.
offering reasons,
I'm not
but
taking them to in the back, and we're not shooting birds, and so none of that. But absolutely, absolutely, I let them know they have to be tough. They don't cut corners. There's no game playing with people.
Yeah.
Um, this is not, especially, I mean, just think that was the 80s. We're in 25.
yeah.
This is not the place to play around. It's not the
Mhm.
place to play around. So yes, I've instilled it in all of my children.
Yeah. You have a good balance of both.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's why I
think
say,
I think you need to have, it's a fine line between cold-hearted and human compassion,
yeah,
right? Like we're
yeah,
all
yeah,
human. Everybody's going through something, so you have to have some level of compassion for somebody as a human being,
absolutely.
but you also, to a degree, have to have your wall up.
Absolutely. So I was, and I believe, we come into the world the way we are.
Mhm.
So I have always been an extreme empath. Like, I mean, extreme. Like, if one of you guys right now just opened up and said something you're going through, my heart would be like, okay, wait, we have to figure this out. Like, I literally absorb, you know,
Yeah,
everyone's everything. But I had to, after, especially after the trauma after trauma after trauma, and then the things that I had to deal with, which that's another story. But, during those periods, it was, as I said about the neuroplasticity, I was like, I have to rewire. I literally do. I have to learn boundaries with people. I have to learn the poker face. And it wasn't that hard for me. It wasn't that difficult because I could just pull it out of what I was already taught, but I had it in the back. I had it in the
yeah,
back of my mind. I knew how to do it. I just didn't want to do it.
Mhm.
But once it was needed, it was
Yeah.
there. So yeah, I make sure that my children know, like I tell them, you don't play with you. Like this world is, and the thing is, when, they talk about late bloomers, I got it late. I got it, I'm talking about really late. I literally went through the world bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm running around like, oh, this is, everybody is
you
this,
had
and
a glamorous life yeah, you were living it up.
yeah, yes, and I was so protected. So I didn't know. I thought it was the opposite of what I found out it
Yeah,
was. I thought it was, we have this wonderful, beautiful, sweet world and a few bad apples.
Mhm.
I literally thought once, Chaka used to even, as a young adult, he'd be like, Lo, you need to cut that dumb stuff out. He's like, come on, Lo, come on. And he'd be like, I know, sis, I know. That's who you are. That's who you are. But then he always said, you let people know who your brother is. He used to always say that. And he's like, I don't play when it comes to my family. And, I'm like, oh, okay, But yeah,
but do you think so? Speaking about all that, do you think you could say Prodigy was controlled chaos? And I'm going to elaborate on that. For
okay.
example, there's a story about when I believe it was Sherm the Worm snuck up on him, snuffed him, took his chain, jumped in the car, and as enraged he was about to shoot up the car because Cormega was in the car, he didn't.
Right.
So could you say he was a methodical, controlled chaos where he was still in control of his anger?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because as I said, it wasn't, the difference is, and I'm generally speaking because every situation is different,
Yeah,
but the difference between someone who, you see a child, they're just born into like, a really tough situation and everything is survival. There's a difference in that brain as opposed to a child who has, I don't want to, kind of like a strange balance of there's this chaos, there's this menacing upbringing, but there's this work ethic, there's this elite lifestyle, there's this, you know what I mean? So he knew what it looked like to be in control of your life. He knew what it looked like to do the right thing and to build your life a certain way. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then he also knew he had to survive. And that's why, that's what impresses me so much. Like with Mobb Deep and just all of their writings and their songs, it was so real because it was literally survival.
Mhm.
And that's why, like I said, I tied the psychology into the book because I actually plan on down the line going deeper with that. I'm actually going to be using this in the psychology sector also, as a study. But yeah, it was, how did you put it? Controlled chaos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, he knew because he had a good, his wiring, he had a good foundation on that end, even though he would, of course, pop off when he needed to
Yeah,
or
yeah.
felt he needed to,
Yeah.
you know.
So with that being said, we're gonna take a quick pause. We're gonna
Okay.
announce a giveaway.
Okay.
So that for us, this is a super special podcast. We greatly appreciate you joining us.
Thank
And
you so much.
we want all of Peace fans to get those untold stories. So we're going to be doing a giveaway. And what we're going to be giving away is number one, a copy of your book. And number
Awesome.
two, we're going to be giving away an Escobar Black Series to smoke while they read your book. On top
Awesome.
of that, we're going to be giving away this lighter. How does this open up here? Let's see here. You open that
Yeah,
up.
right here.
That lighter right there. So this is an actual lighter. It's got the
Oh,
flame
that's so
on top,
cool. Okay.
and it's got the punch in the bottom. So
Oh,
they can cut their
wow.
cigar, they can light their cigar. So we got the
Yes.
cigar, we got the book, we got the lighter. On top of that, we actually have our own Cigar Talk Toronto red wine.
Oh,
So we're going to be
wow.
getting a bottle of wine as well. And on
Oh, I
top of
love
that,
it.
we have a local artist, Gilroy Originals.
Mhm.
He's going to be doing a one-off piece in memory of Prodigy. So the winner of the contest is going to get the book, the lighter, the Black Series, the wine. To enter the contest, we're going to have a promo video for the podcast on your Instagram account and our Instagram
Okay.
account. And to enter the contest, you have to go into the comments and write infamous till the name wear out.
Yes. Love that.
Once you write infamous till the name wear out and you confirm you're following us and infamoussis, you are entered into the contest. And one lucky winner is going to get the package. And this is our gift to Prodigy's fans, your fans, our fans, as a way to say thank you and to continue the legacy.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I
So,
love that.
and the lighter's right here in the box that
That is so
probably because I have
great.
too much Henny, I can't get the box open. But it's right
It's too
here.
funny. It's fine where it is.
Um,
That's incredible. Very, very
we'll change the
good.
pace a little bit here. So your obsession with Prince, okay?
Hmm.
What did you think? What went through your head when you found out that Prince actually had, I don't know if it was co-produced. So the story is Prince was just outside the studio, came in the studio, tapped some keys, and then just vanished. But Prince had something to do with the track "Thou Shall Not Kill," Mobb Deep.
Right.
So you being such a fan of Prince, and then Prince actually having something to do with one of their tracks, what was your thought about
It feels like I deserve. That's all. It just felt like, well, of course. It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, he probably did it, you know, because somehow it was like, I'm doing it for her. No. Yeah.
that? It's funny because you talk about the Prince poster you had on your wall,
Oh my God.
and we tried so hard to find a copy of that poster. It's nowhere.
So it's not, you look at the album cover.
Mhm.
Look up the album Prince, that it was titled Prince, and on the back of it, it was him naked on the
On the horse.
what is it called? Is it a Pegasus, I think?
Yeah.
Something like the winged horse.
Mhm.
And I had that blown up and on my wall. And in my closet, I mean, of course, it was more Michael Jackson, but in the middle was that of Prince. But in my closet, my girls are in here. In my closet, it was Prince. If you look it up, I'm sure you'll find that. It was Prince in the shower wearing a bikini top. My mother opened it and was like, who told you you were allowed to? I'm like, a teenager. Oh my God, Mom, get over it. And just look over it. He's always there if I got hollered at, it seemed like. And he's standing there just looking. To be honest, I didn't even know he thought twice about it or remembered the Prince. He remembered everything about Michael Jackson. But it was in jail, and he wrote me and he told me that about Prince. I didn't know. He said, I said something about, I don't know. I asked him something about, we were laughing, talking about the Michael Jackson stuff, like how I probably had one of the most elaborate collections of Michael Jackson items ever. But we were saying something, I was talking about that, and he wrote me and was like, no, he said that effing Prince poster traumatized me. He said no man, woman, or child should ever have to see Prince naked on a horse. I said, what? Didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, okay. You know. But yeah, that was cool. That's cool. That story about Prince doing that. Yeah.
It's funny because you tell the stories about like, when guys would call the house looking for you and, he would
Horrible.
do stuff to you and say, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. And then you look
Always.
at his later interviews, he would discuss about various rappers or whatever. He's like, what are you going to do? Nothing. It's like,
Yeah, see, yeah. That's how he was.
yeah,
Buddy instilled a fearless attitude in him from birth because this kid, he never um, stood back. He never stood down. He always gave eye contact. And there's this thing he used to do with his chest, like even as an adult, I would see it, but he'd be like, he'd take a deep breath and, even if I kind of gauged that he's uncomfortable, but he was like, I'm going to take a deep breath. You will not know. You might wonder if I am, but his eye contact, like he was fearless. He was fearless. Of course, he's a human. He knows that, a lion or tiger coming at him is still a lion or tiger. But
yeah.
yeah, he had this, and it was real. I mean, it was real. Like I can't even imagine, like when we weren't there, like how Buddy was actually training him. Buddy was a Green Beret. He was a martial artist. So there was also that. He was in the street, but he wasn't in the street as a like a willy-nilly all over the place thug,
Yeah.
street thug. It was very organized, whatever he did, allegedly, you know. But yeah, he taught him to really stand firm and to really be a man, be strong, be fearless.
And
Yeah.
that's something that when you again dig underneath the surface, it's very admirable.
Yeah.
It's something for the younger generations to look up to, and
Yes.
when you stand on something, you stand on it and stand
Yes.
for what you believe in.
Yes.
And again, a prime example, like even for example, like Juvenile Hell, when that album
Mm-hmm.
came out, it was a flop by
Yeah.
industry standards, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, if you look at them, they would take failure and just take it and put their tail between their legs and move on. But then
Mm-mm.
they came back with the infamous, like
Yeah.
what the difference between Juvenile Hell and the infamous was like,
Night and day.
holy
And
shit.
he was intentional. They were very intentional.
Yeah.
Even giving Nas the props they gave, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to throw other people down, but you just don't see that type of prop giving. He
Yeah.
was like, it was like, wait a minute, that's really ill. Like, what is that BS we put out? We better come on, let's do something different.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know, that takes a lot. That's talk. You know, everybody wants to talk about accountability these days. That's some accountability. That was
yeah.
like,
You know,
yeah, we're bigger than that. We're better than that. And they
I
really went hard.
I have that
Yeah,
album on vinyl. It's pretty
you
sick.
do.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Mobb Deep fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
if you listen to Drop a Gem on them, from Hell on Earth, that actually used to be my alarm sound every morning.
Really?
Even right now, I'm gonna ask you a question. So even right now, my ringtone is White Lines.
Right, right.
So let me ask you, White Lines or Quiet Storm?
Quiet Storm.
Yeah,
I love Quiet Storm. I love both of them, the original and the remix.
yeah.
Yeah, I love Quiet Storm. I'm gonna pick that over pretty much anything, kind of.
So do you think it
Yeah,
was meant, do you think it was just meant to be that he gave up that sing? Because that, if I remember correctly, White Lines was supposed to be on HNIC,
I think I'm not. I don't recall.
and they needed a good single for Murder Music.
Yeah,
So he gave up White Lines, which turned into Quiet Storm for the
right.
put Have on the hook, and that became the single for Murder Music.
Yeah,
And then it
yeah,
even took off even further when they had Lil Kim on the remix.
absolutely. I remember that era so hard. Yeah, I remember that era itself.
I remember as a teenager just like rushing to catch Rap City because I would just really
Yeah,
that Quiet Storm video. That was like the ghetto Die Hard.
yes, yes, you're right. That's funny.
That
That's funny. Absolutely.
that's one
Yeah.
memory about my teenage years that really stood out to me was like that Quiet Storm video. That was like something you didn't see before.
No, it was it was unique and it was like, I don't know. Yeah, they're that chemistry, they just did something. They did something, just to throw in, there was the video with Benzino speaking about, Mobb Deep and what they did. And there was a comparison to like who made New York gangster or
Gangster.
whatever. New York, of course, we know was always gangster, but it was what he said at the end. He was like, what Mob Deep did, that feeling that it put in there. It doesn't mean that the other stuff, it was great. A lot of great stuff going on, a lot of great music, a lot of hardcore stuff. That New York was New York. But there's something about that sound and what they put in there that it's almost I don't even know how to put it. It's unreal. Unreal. So with Quiet Storm, it's that type of thing. Just to hear the beginning, the
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
wait, whoa, wait, So yeah, that chemistry was unbelievable.
What was I know you talk about it a little bit in your book, but to translate it speaking now instead of on paper,
Uh-huh.
when you first heard Survival of the Fittest and you were like, shit, that's chocolate right there.
Survival of the Fittest was
What was your real like emotional moment there?
I was like the head, the mind blown emoji. Like
yeah.
because it's one thing, this is the thing. It's one thing to get the letter from the federal prison.
Yeah,
Chaka's doing really good in New York. Chaka is really blowing up. And I'm like, yeah, like I know this guy's gonna do it because I know what he does. I know him, right? But to be a half asleep and the videos are just on, and then it's like you're feeling it in, you're hearing it, and it's like, dang, it's like amazing. And it's like, and turn over, I'm like, what? Like, and I'm throw this in. This is funny.
did you see that
Uh,
coming?
Um, Not what I saw. I didn't see that coming because this is the thing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, how does he look like that? I'm like, like, he's not, remember as they said, he was the golden child at first and all that. I'm like, he had such an innocent, beautiful love. Yeah, he was tough, but you would never. I mean, I remember my mom was like, she, she was like, "Now, how did that happen?" Because he was, it's like it was like he just encompassed everything he was saying and doing. His look, the fatigues, his crew. He went hard.
Yeah.
He went hard. It was unbelievable. That was surreal. That moment I look back on and I'm like, that was a real moment. I'm like, well, I knew from that point on it was like that's it. Like there's no turning back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some call that infamous album the best album that's ever been put out in hip hop history. I personally think
Lots.
Mhm.
Lots of people, I believe so too.
I rate things on a no skip basis, and that album has zero skips on
Yeah,
it.
you can't skip
Yes.
anything
No.
on that. You'll miss the
Right.
story.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
And it's
Yeah.
I actually this morning I watched Drink Champs just had Havoc on talking about the new Mob album coming up,
Yes.
and they were getting into the infamous, and it's just like that album is historic. That
Yes.
album will stand the test of time.
And just to think they were kids.
Yeah,
That's the thing right there. They were
I'm only
kids when they
19, but
did
my mind
that.
is gold.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, those lines were the thing that impresses me so much is how real those lines were. Excuse me. That was real. By 19, he had lived more life than so many people live by 35.
Yep.
It was real.
So I've heard Illigy tell some stories, and I'm not saying tell stories, but like,
Hmm.
factual stories about P would just, escape to his place, lay low for 3, 4, 5 days and just escape the industry. Like, do you
Yeah,
think that was a level of detox of the industry? Is that a characteristic you see in him as a child growing up where he just needed to seclude himself away
he
from
did.
life?
Yes, he did. He did. He did. And the thing about being a child, you're not able to make the decisions as much. You know what I mean? You're not able to. So you do the best you can. You retreat in whatever ways you could retreat.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did. There'd be times where it's like why isn't he bothering me? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. I need as it's like I need a little excitement in my life. He didn't kick the door down. He didn't, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, it was like he needed his moments and he probably needed more, but where are you going to get them from when, like I said, you're a child. You
Yeah.
have to go to school when they say, you have to go here when they say, you have to do family when they say. So, but yeah, that was his character. And it was a good quality. It's a good thing. Like we all need to do that. We need
I,
to,
I, I fully believe in that
yes,
too. Like
yes.
some days I just put my phone aside and I don't want to talk to
Mm-hmm.
nobody. I just want to
Yes.
come home, be home, and just sleep.
Yes, and you unapologetically should. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any insight? Like, nobody, everybody talks about Hempstead, Queensbridge. He wasn't from Queensbridge, but he rep Queensbridge to the fullest.
Absolutely.
Probably even more so than a lot of people from QB.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
nobody talks about his time in Left Rack
Yeah. Maybe,
because he went from Hempstead to Left Rack.
yes. Yeah. That was I think that was a painful time for him. He was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, just think about it. Going from Hempstead to the frack anyway.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Mhm.
Hempstead, and then you think about the big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And although this is what people don't understand, and they're like, yeah, but there was money, there was money. Did you not see Queensbridge? Did you not see LeFrak? Do you not understand that I don't care how much money there was in the grandparents' bank account?
Yeah.
Did that stop him from getting his butt kicked over here? You know what I mean? By older people did or him having to defend himself against, you know what I mean? All of the things that are going on, the struggles that were going on, his father being locked up, his, all of the things going on. Did the money stop any of that stuff? You
Mhm.
know, he was a child. He didn't have access to, they act like he was just walking around with millions in his hands as a little kid.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You went from Hempstead to LeFrak. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that may be the time that he tried to take his life. That
Uh,
might be the time. I don't want to get the, timeline wrong, but you get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
That it was hard. It was tough. Yeah, that was a
And that's something I
transition.
didn't really want to touch on because it's in the
Yeah.
book.
No, that part is not. Oh yeah, that is in the book, but that
That
was
is in the
his story too.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So based off all what you're saying, would you believe that he was destined for the street? Like there was like no other way. You couldn't see him living like a normal life
No.
or
Yeah.
escaping.
No.
He was, yeah, he was a man of the
Yeah.
streets.
There was no way he was, sounds crazy. He was raised for the streets.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, so it was almost as if Buddy felt like it was inevitable.
Mhm.
But as I said, it's very complicated because it was almost like, as I said, yes, we're pouring all of this into you, but the streets exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're a young man, and this is where you're coming from. I can't just put you in a suit and tie and send you out there in the world that, especially the world that Buddy knew and the world that was in Buddy's head, and this is my son. You have to be prepared. So it
Exactly.
was like, yeah. So the things that he was taught, you know, um, the things that he was taught on the street level would absolutely, like, when people say, well, why did that happen? No, you look at it and say, why wouldn't it happen?
Mhm.
Of course, yes. Yeah, he was raised for that life, but not he wasn't raised to be a street thug. That's not what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? He was raised to be able to handle himself in that environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thinking about the time, you have to think about the timing, that this was, the years that this was, the late 80s, the early 90s, 2000s, right? While he's growing and developing. Remember the 90s were what the drive-bys, I think were, it was just a lot of stuff going on. It was a lot of it was actually the turn of the century. There's a lot of stuff going on streetwise. And you have this little kid, he has to be prepared. He's a man, he's a young man, has to be prepared. And Buddy knew he wasn't going to be there the way he would like to be
Yeah.
there, you know?
Do you think that the whole attraction to QB in the street life, that was a way to channel his anger and pain from sickle cell?
It absolutely was. Well, I believe no, wait. I don't think the street life and Queensbridge, let me put it the right way. It was the entire dynamic of, remember how I said he would sleep on his friend's sofa
Yeah.
and the parent is like, is this kid okay?
Mm.
Like, if you really go deep and think about this, what is this kid just doing here in the projects? Where's his family?
Yeah.
If anyone ever really thought about that while they're talking about he's an actor, it's just this young guy, this kid, he's just there now.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like he was there to channel the anger and the pain. It was while he was there and he's in that environment, the music is how he channeled
Okay.
what he was a product of. Because if you're there, you're going to be affected by what's going on there. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's there. These are the things he has to deal with. Now he's surrounded by these guys. Like I appreciate them so much. I appreciate, the fact that they were there. Like it's not my business to be like, I appreciate the fact that you all were there because they were there. They were just where they were. And for them to come together like that, it was like they became a family and a support system. And he got what he needed that he didn't have because, like I said, the grandpop he passed away. Grandma, she struggled um, with age setting in, and she doesn't have her husband. She's still trying, right? So she's older now. His mom scared of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mommy Fatima was precious, precious woman. But it's like, okay, he's got this anger, Buddy's in and out of prison and all over the place. So this kid is like, I'm somewhere, you know? And that's what the streets and Queensbridge. So I tell people, understand even kids who join gangs, not the ones who just are wannabes, but
Yeah.
not that it's condoned. I don't condone it at all. I wish it didn't exist. But there's something there that they need. So it wasn't, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't that he used to channel his anger and the pain from sickle cell. It was because he had that anger from the pain in sickle cell. And as I said, as we talked more, it was the pain of sickle cell, but he had a lot of other pain too. But it was the sickle cell was the one that was right there. It was with him. It was on him. So he could just use that as this is the pain I'm angry about.
Yeah.
And the music is where he channeled it. So
And no matter where
Yeah.
you're born, you're bound to be a product of your environment. So if you move
Absolutely.
somewhere, you're gonna adapt to wherever you are. You have
That's
to, or you're gonna get eaten
that's
alive.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. So when people, that's what I mean. When people say, "Oh, he was an actor," you think he was an actor? They called this kid the Golden Child. You think a Golden Child standing in the middle of Queensbridge? You know what I mean? Didn't have to be
Bad
tough.
choice.
Yeah, he had to be hard. He had to be tough. And thank goodness he was taught to be hard and tough
Mhm.
and to hold his own.
On that note, we're gonna do shot for Fatima.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So
Love
salute
her.
to Fatima. And for those that
Mm,
don't know, Fatima was actually a member of the Crystals. I
yes.
don't know if you remember that song, And Then You Kissed Me,
Oh.
Mhm.
And to do run run.
the Do Run Run. Yep. That was P's mother.
Oh shit! I didn't even know
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
If you go in any ice cream parlor or any candy shop, I'm telling you, you're going to hear her. You're going to hear her. There has not been a time I've gone in a candy shop or, they have the old fashioned ice cream parlors
Yeah.
or candy shops. You walk in, you're going to hear, and then he kissed me or the do run run.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those were big songs back in those days.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even me, like I was a child and I still like even though I didn't listen to it, I heard it when it was on. And I know about because you heard it like time
hmm
and time again on the radio, like that was
Yes.
huge hits.
I'm waiting for TikTok to pick it up. You know how the TikTok TikTok picks up the old trends. I
Yeah.
am. I'm waiting for them. So I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's my mommy Fatima. Yeah. Yeah.
Good question. A lot of his like songs and his lyrics, you hear like he'd be speaking patois. Is that something he did like?
Say it again.
You speak like patois in a lot of his like lyrics. Is that
Yeah.
something he did like normally, or is that just like you drop it on a track?
He was that guy. He just did he'd switch up. If you really listen, he'd switch up and throw in things that you're like, where'd that come from? That's just him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of people from like the States, they like even if they do try to speak patois, it's not like
Yeah, yeah.
authentic
Yeah.
or it
Yeah, it
sounds
wasn't
funny, but
anything specific. It was just because that's who he was. Like he liked to switch things up and have a little fun here and there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, even for example, Gunsling, they did a track called Gunsling, which was remember Sprocket?
Okay. Okay, yeah. I was listening to it today.
Yeah, so that was almost like a remix, we'll call it. And I heard that track, I was like, damn, he should do like a reggae because he fit it.
Mm.
Yeah.
That would be
What was
pretty.
the?
That would be a pretty good album.
Yeah, there was one. I can't recall one where he did it. Yeah, yeah, he would. He would be really good. That would have been great.
But it's not like when you get other hip hop artists, they kind of throw in a little bit of patois. Like
Yes,
it was like he could
pretty
have been
good.
a reggae artist.
Yeah. Well, remember, New York. New York has so many,
Yeah,
you're like gonna encounter so many different people. So you're around so many different people at different times.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's easy to pick it up.
That's the way it is here in Toronto. Like we have Eglinton Avenue, which is like
Oh,
the
crap.
Jamaica area,
Little
right?
Yes,
Jamaica.
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like when I look at the comparisons, like Toronto to New York,
Hmm.
it's I know I'm gonna Toronto is like a mini wannabe New York, we'll call it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But we have those, you have your Irish areas, your
Yeah.
Colombian areas, your Jamaican areas. So
Right.
it's
Right.
really like, again, it's like a mini New York. And that's, I think, one of the blessings growing up in Toronto is you grow up very multicultural.
Yes.
So you understand people as people. You don't look at color of skin and cultural
Yes.
backgrounds.
Yes, a difference. Yeah.
Like even if you look at us three, like you see me, white skin, brown skin, black skin. He's probably the whitest of the three of us.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's the way it was growing up here. And sometimes I wish, in the modern day, race baiting is huge right now.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It's super annoying. Like I wish we could go back to the 80s and 90s where
It didn't matter.
No, they
exactly.
didn't.
And
It
that's
didn't
something that
matter.
he
Yeah.
stood on was that they're
Hmm.
trying to push the racial war, the spiritual war.
Exactly. On purpose.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like people are people. When you cut us, we all bleed the same. We all got to shit.
Yes.
We all got to eat. We're all gonna die.
Yes.
Like nobody is above anybody,
Right.
and that's
Right.
something that when you read Prodigy's book, he talks about finding out that he had Irish blood. So somewhere along the ways, there is some sort of Irish descent in Pete,
Yes.
and it, he just stood on people, right?
You're very serious about it too.
There's the track uh, "Real Power is People,"
Real power is people. That's right. Race don't
and
matter. Yeah, that's
exactly,
very serious about that.
I,
You
I
know,
just I just
yeah,
wish we as people, and this is something that when you put Prodigy in a box, right? He didn't play the racial war
nope.
or anything. He stood for people as a whole.
Right. All while acknowledging that he's a black man.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not black. I'm no, he acknowledged I'm a black man. It's reality.
Mhm.
But he never, ever played that game. He never played
Mhm.
that game.
Well, even if
Um,
you look at Alchemist, for example, I
yeah.
remember Mobb Deep did their first show in Canada. It was at the Cool House in Toronto, and Alchemist was still their DJ at the time.
Hmm.
And if you look at that, it doesn't matter. Like Alchemist comes from Beverly Hills,
Right.
right? He grew up with money, status. It doesn't matter. It matters about the connection between people.
Yes.
And that's something that I admired so much about not only Prodigy but Mobb Deep as a whole, even Infamous Mob, which was an extension, so to say,
Yes.
Mobb
Love
Deep.
them. Love
You
them.
know, Ty Nitty does a lot of collaborations with us. One day we're
Yes.
gonna get him on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Great. I love them so much. Yeah.
they just stand on people and your connections
Hmm.
and your relationships, and they don't
Yes.
play that race shit.
No, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, like I tell people when people say I don't see color, I'm like, listen, you don't have to keep saying that because if a 2-foot man walks in the room and you say I don't see height, You see that? Yeah, I mean, I know, I'm silly, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
For real.
If someone who's 6'7" walks in the room, right? I had to say 6'7" for my girls. They're Gen Zs, and that's
Yeah.
just a running joke. They like the number, so I don't get it all that Gen Z does, but they're like, throw in the number 6'7". That's what they do. But if someone 6'7" walks in the room, you're not going to not notice their height.
Yeah.
However, to sit in the room, well, the tall people, this, the short people, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know there are differences. We know there are, you get it? So
Mhm.
what?
Yeah, exactly.
I have hair. She might not have hair. My complexion is this complexion. Yours is that complexion. Okay. That's just an identifying mark. It's a real thing. But
Mhm.
the race baiting and the division, I don't want to go there because it gets me, that really frustrates me. Our family, I'm going to tell you this since you mentioned that. I've got a friend who is uh, uh, an older white man. And he's a very good friend, read the book, reads all my books. He goes, we're out to dinner. He says, it's just amazing. He said that, how Black people, even if they grew up in an elite environment, still could end up in the streets and with guns and all. Speaking about Prodigy, right? I said, did you get that from my book?
Mhm.
I'm like, did you see my book mention anything about race? I said, do you know that the people I spoke about, Buddy taking me around, did I say what color they were? I said they
Mhm.
weren't Black people per se. I'm like, it's not, it wasn't the book. I said it wasn't about race.
Yeah.
I said you see what I mean about why I
Yeah.
said there's a psychology that I implemented in the book. I didn't write the book and say this young Black kid. No, it was about Prodigy, this person.
Yeah.
This was his life as a child. This was his upbringing. But the world has gotten to the point where that division is just something that it's just so forefront for so many people. And a lot of us just don't live like that, you know?
Yeah. I think the majority of us don't. And the problem
Yeah,
is with social media these days, you get a lot of those negative people pop up with their comments, and unfortunately, that drives the narrative
it does.
and
It
it
does.
distracts from the actual story.
Yes. Yep.
Um, but again, like that's something that like here we don't believe in that shit.
Right. And it doesn't stop reality from being reality.
No.
Let me throw that in. It doesn't mean there aren't some things that aren't right. It's, you know what I mean? It's not saying there aren't some very problematic things that happen in the world. But when they try to, I always said that when they try to make us have the sex wars and or the gender wars and the race wars and the socioeconomic wars, it's a distraction.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
we don't all hate each other the way
Mhm.
they
No.
try to tell us. Women don't hate the men the way we hate some men. Some men hate some women.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
keep
Yeah.
right. But all the women don't hate all of the men. All of the men don't hate all the women.
Mhm.
All of the white people don't hate. It's ridiculous. But it's something that's intentionally set in place to paint a narrative so that we're looking over here while they're doing this over
Yeah.
there. That's all.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
Trying to
all.
keep us divided.
even if you look at it, like for example, not to get into, right, like I'm a white guy. I was born and raised white. I was born and raised in a ghetto area in Toronto.
Okay.
But one of my idols is Prodigy.
Right.
And
Right.
that has nothing to do with color of skin. It's because of what he stood for.
Right.
And for me, it's an
Absolutely.
example of how a man should carry himself.
Absolutely.
And do you think the whole race baiting, do you think that comes from inexperience in life of people not experiencing different cultures? where they humanize other people and they just buy into what's in the media?
So the race baiting is to take advantage of the fact that, like, of what you just said. The race baiting is set in motion to, you know, attack or attach itself to the ignorance of the people. And ignorance,
Yes.
you know, it is because it's, have you guys heard the experiment with the ants? It's, I may get this all chopped up, forgive me, but it's something like they put black ants and red ants in a container or something together, and then they do something to make the red ants think the black ants are the problem, and now the ants are fighting against each other. But there was a third party who actually implemented the problem.
Yep.
But if the ants don't know,
They work together.
you know, they think it's the other guy. And that's what I said. It doesn't mean there aren't some, you know, races that people of different races who really hate someone else's another race. But that's just still people. Those happen to be that color. They happen to be that color. They might hate somebody else. The movie. Did you ever see the movie Crash?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
It kind of shows. Uh, Someone get my charger, please. It kind of shows. Jada, can you get my charger, please?
Shout out
It
to
it.
Jada for
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
I'm sorry. Shout out to Jada. They say shout out to Jada for the behind the
Where's
scenes.
Jada? Where's Jada? Let's get Jada. To make
Jada
an
will
appearance. Come on.
not make an appearance. You're not going to make an appearance, Jada? Not even a little?
Too bad I want
You're
no
so
part.
beautiful, Jada.
So since we're talking about behind the scenes, I
Wait,
actually
Jada,
got
see
my
if this will
son
go
behind
anywhere.
the
It might
scenes.
not.
Hold on, hold on.
Do you?
I got my son behind the scenes. We actually call him Lo. His name is Logan.
Logan?
We
Okay.
call him Lo.
It might have to go in there. Okay. Oh, good. I love that. I love Lo.
We call him Kid Lo, and he's actually
Sorry.
not that we script things, but we have talking points we want to hit. He's actually holding up cue cards right now behind the scenes.
Oh, see? Oh,
Logan,
that's
come over
awesome.
here.
Jada, please.
Nah.
I want you to just make a little appearance, Jada. Okay, well,
And
don't.
and you know, to just spin off of
Thank you,
that,
Logan.
Logan's favorite song is Lifestyles of the Infamous Mobb Deep.
Wow. And how old is Logan?
He's 13.
All
He can
right.
recite that song line for line. He won't recite it.
Really?
Oh, just
Come
like
on, Logan, you gotta prove it now.
Shout out, Logan.
so shout out to Logan. He's helpful with our videos and stuff. And one thing, as a huge fan of hip hop,
Hmm.
I tried to put him on to the golden era, and even
Yes.
before that, right? And his favorite duo is Mobb Deep.
Oh, wow. I love
He
it.
was like completely ecstatic the fact that we were gonna have you on the podcast. Like I just
Oh,
can't
hi,
believe
Logan.
this. And you know, we went to a show in Toronto with Illigy, and Illigy did a live thing on Instagram. He shouted out Logan and stuff like that. Like he's
Oh,
completely
wow.
ecstatic with all this. So
Oh, well,
shout out
thank you so
to
much,
you right there
Logan.
holding the cue cards. And it's
We
not that we
appreciate you,
script
Logan.
stuff. Like
Yes.
everything has been organic, but
Yes,
there's certain
absolutely.
points we want to hit, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
he's making sure we hit those certain points. So behind the scenes, Logan, shout out to you.
Thank you, Logan.
And
I
now I
love
forget
that.
where we were because that Hennessy is starting to hit me.
I know.
Bottle's almost empty.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah. Going into just a curious question. So you go back into the 90s, and my belief in the 90s, nobody was touching Pete. His rhymes were just
Crazy.
retarded. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So take away the inner core, you know, Big Noid, Ty Nitty, Big
Right.
Twins, Godfather. Who do you think brought out the best in P when he collaborated with them? Nas, Cormega, Illa G, or Cool G Rap?
Oh.
This is a tough one.
Oh. Pass.
Pass.
I
Because
pass.
like
That's a tough
even if you
one.
listen to like Know the Game, right?
Yes, yes.
P's lyrics were just crazy.
Yeah, he wasn't he was superhuman in that sense, man. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see.
And like even if you listen to like his collaborations, I know Elegy was locked up until almost what 2004.
Yeah,
All the tracks he did with like me
really.
personally, if I were
Hmm.
to put a Mount Rushmore of lyricists, Elegy is going to be on that Mount
On
Rushmore.
there, yeah, Ella is awesome.
And
Oh,
yeah, Illa's a
Elegy is
fucking dope
amazing.
person.
Yeah, yeah,
Very humble, down to earth. I met him in Toronto, like
right.
great human being. But like Illa said, like when I'm on a track with somebody, I'm trying to murder them,
Yes, that's right.
right?
That's what you're
So
supposed to do.
it becomes
Yeah.
a competition within the track itself.
Yes.
And when you look at the collaborations, the ones that stand out are Cormega, Nas, Illa G, and Cool G Rap.
And
Like
Cool
Cool
G
G
Rap.
Rap is a
Yes.
whole nother.
Another level. Yeah. Yep.
Cool G Rap just stood the test of time.
Mhm.
Yeah. I can't. I really. Nope. I can't choose. I can't choose there. Wow.
It's hard. It's
Yeah, that's a hard one.
because they all brought out a different, not style but flow and peak.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's a different energy that you get when you're, with other energy. You know what I mean? There's a different
Yeah.
explosion, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of the tracks with Elegy were unreleased. So like
Yeah.
Walk with a Shotgun, King of Rap,
Yeah.
like those tracks were just timeless.
Yeah.
It sucks that they don't get the
Attention.
exactly the attention
Yeah.
that
I,
they
I'm
deserve.
I'm hoping. Were you gonna say?
Um,
Oh, did someone say something? I'm
what did you
sorry.
say?
I said attention.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
attention, like the
Yeah.
playtime, like all like
Yeah.
they don't know. These younger, they don't know, right?
I'm hoping this is just my little thing, but I'm hoping with, music right now is going in a uncertain direction,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to put it mildly. And I saw someone speaking on how the musical veterans are the ones who are doing shows now and selling out, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want. They don't want all the fluff anymore. The fluff is cute for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but after that, you want the real deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, a kid, yeah, they'll want to eat candy for a minute. It's fun. After a minute, your stomach hurts. It's like, Mom, can I have some real food,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my hopes is that all of this music, this older music, the unreleased stuff, you know, um, will be resurrected. A lot of this stuff will be, because actually, like you said, Logan is 13,
Yeah.
right? These younger kids, they want to hear the good stuff. They want to hear, this, like I said, they're like, okay, we got enough of the fluff and puff stuff. We want to start hearing some meat and potatoes now. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping the music gets resurrected. I really am.
Even last night, like Logan was in the shower and he always listens to music when he's in the shower.
Uh-huh.
And you know what he was playing?
The
What?
face.
He was playing The Realist. Mobb Deep,
What's
Cool G
he?
Rap, like,
Oh, I
and
love it.
he as a father, I'm standing in the hallway and I hear this music. I'm like, all right, I did my job.
Yes, 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 yes. Because that's how, like, my girls, they're like, my sons, they took over Mobb Deep when they were like, when they were like young teenagers and when P was out. And then it was fun because my oldest son, Mark, he's like, dang, I wish I remember, you know, when I was little and living in the house and this, that, and the other, right?
And
But
Mark
he,
is the one that found the Uzi, right?
yes, when he was like, what, two? He was two or something. It's like, and yeah, buddy's like, hey, Mark, you want an Uzi? No, I want Spider-Man, pop up. I'm like, yo, can you stop asking him that?
Ready
But
for an Uzi.
yeah, but Mark, began so P used to call the house, like even like through the years, like I said, there'd be time when we didn't hear from him or we'd lose touch. Not lose touch, but it's like, life was going on,
Yeah.
right? And he made it a point to always call the house and be like, all right, put me on speaker. Let me talk to the kids. All right, y'all better listen to your moms. All right, da 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 da. All right, love you, bye. And it'd be like boom, just like that. And it's like, why did I say that? What we were talking about? What were we talking about? Oh, the music. And it was
Yeah, the
like,
music.
so yeah, in that era, they took all the Mobb Deep CDs. They took all the music. That was like always boom, 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 boom. They always bumped it. That was their theme music for school. You know what I mean? The Mobb Deep. So with my girls, my younger girls, I didn't, I'm like, oh, no cursing and don't listen to this, that, and the other. But then they're like, but they grew up hearing Mobb Deep. They can hear all of it.
Like I agree. Like my little brother, he's more into like punk rock and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right? His biggest gripe with rap and hip hop today is they all sound the same.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, there's a difference. Yeah.
My brother would go back and listen to Mobb Deep. He would go back and listen to like his probably newest album. He probably listened to is still like Chronic album, the original.
Right, 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 right.
All right, when hip
Yeah.
hop had distinguished sounds, right? You
Yeah,
knew a New
very.
York sound, you knew a West Coast sound,
You
a
did.
Southern
Yes.
sound. Now it's all the they have that they have the what's they have
I
the
don't even
plan,
know.
the master plan that they know that sells,
Yeah.
Yes.
and they just
Yeah.
run with it all
Yeah,
the time.
jump on the same bandwagon.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
it's like, you ever look at the reaction videos though?
yeah,
When the
it was
kids and
always
like
good.
when they listen to Mobb Deep and they're like, yo, what is this? Like,
Yeah,
like I've been eating bologna all this time and you mean there are really steaks?
so like
Yeah.
going into you were born in Philly
I was born in Philly. Yes.
and then
Yes.
you ended up in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yep. I ended up in Atlanta. Yes.
So now looking at,
Yeah.
for example, like Prodigy, Mobb Deep, and their collaborations, Eight Ball and
Hmm.
the Southern artists. Um, I think that and this is something that we instill in what we're doing right now is collaborations, right?
Hmm.
And if you look at collaborations like P did, oh my God, have you ever heard of Dirty Heads?
Dirty X.
Dirty Heads. They're like
Dirty
a
Heads. No.
long blonde hair surfer, like rocky type band. So one of the guys from Dirty Heads did his own rap thing called Sword Beach, and P was actually on one of the tracks with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll send you the link
Okay.
to the video.
Yeah, send me that. Thank you. Yeah, I
Um,
like to hear that. I
and you
love to
look at
hear
the
like,
like the collaborations, like
hmm
Sword Beach, for example, Surfer Boys from California, Eight Ball. You look at Cool G Rap, Nas.
yes.
Do you think collaborations are underrated, or is it something that's needed in this world where collaborations open you up? Because our view is collaborations open you up to a whole nother zone of viewership.
Yeah.
And when P came out of jail, he collaborated like crazy with so many
So
people.
many people. He did. He did. Yeah, I think they're needed. I don't know if it's needed, but I think they're valued.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
very valuable. Yeah, because as you said, you find different sides of yourself
yeah,
when you collaborate. It's like a person
and
raised one way and then they get into the world and they're like, you mean there's other ways of doing things? So like you might have your style and and this is nothing to people who don't collaborate. Some people just, want to stick with what they do. But yeah, you find different things that work for you or you find different sides of yourself
yeah.
when you collaborate. Yeah.
It's something that we truly believe in here. And um, again, like this podcast is a perfect example. Like, so our podcast is not about cigars.
Right.
we just smoke cigars and drink and talk shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about real life stuff. And we're developing, so we've recently hit over 5 million views on the Instagram.
Congratulations too.
Thank you.
I saw that.
And we've reached a point where we're like, you know what? Now is time we can start putting out what we believe in
Yes.
and stuff that inspired us. And the collaborations for us are big because we want to carry everything that means everything to us with us as we grow. And I
Yes.
think collaborations, not only in life, but in business, as people, as human beings, I think is reflective on growth.
Yes. Yes, it is. I appreciate that. I love what you guys are doing.
We're trying to, you know, up in Canada, like there's not many people doing what we do up here.
Yeah.
Canada is a super restrictive country,
Yeah.
but that's
Mm-hmm.
another story another day.
Right.
But we've reached a platform. Actually, the USA is our biggest viewership. New York City is our biggest city viewership. We have a lot of love for America. We have a lot
Yes.
of love for New
Thank
York,
you.
and we're trying to carry along what we believe in and say, you know what, we don't care about society or views. This is what we believe in. And again,
Mm-hmm.
the same inspiration from Prodigy, right? It doesn't matter
Yes.
what the society says. This is what you believe in, and this is what we're
Yes.
going to do. And that's something that we stand strong on, and we're going to do it until, you know, time wears out.
Love it. I
Um,
love it.
beef patties.
Beef patties.
Beef patties. You talked about your first experience with beef patties.
Yes.
And I'm gonna comment on that because as a child, we can all relate to this because even though we're at certain geographical areas right now, growing
Uh-huh.
up in the city of Toronto, you always had that corner store or the subway station with those beef patties and the toaster grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Those are just like nostalgic memories. Have you had a
That's so
beef patty
funny.
recently?
No, I don't eat beef.
Don't worry, there's goat patties, there's chicken
No, I don't
patties.
eat. No, I literally just started eating seafood again after 20 years. I don't eat other animals other than seafood now. But not animals, meat. But no, I haven't had a beef patty since.
When the first time you had a beef patty, like were you like, shit, this is what I've been missing all this time?
It was because I'm like, I literally, what was it? I think I went in the store for change. I don't, whatever I went in for, whatever. Go in the store and I'm like, I'm smelling the beef patties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the smell gets
And
you.
I'm like, what is that? I'm like, can I get one of those? And I'm like I said, I was a bean sprout girl. So I used to eat the sandwiches, the pitas with bean sprouts and tomatoes or whatever. And even Thanksgiving, I wouldn't eat turkey and they would just laugh at me, my brothers. And this one day I smelled the beef patty and I'm like, on my way, I think I was about to go to down Manhattan. And I stopped there on my way to the Long Island Railroad. I stopped in the store for change or whatever I was doing. I smelled the beef patty, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get this one. And then that was so good after I took that first bite, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And it became my little sneaky thing I used to do, my little secret every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, yeah, of course I'd look up and I'm leaving one day and here come Leon and P walking down the street and I'm like, oh God. And I'm standing there with a beef patty.
Exposed.
Oh, okay.
I remember the reference of, is that a bean sprout patty?
Yeah, that's exactly what P said. That's what Chaka said. He's like, so what are you eating? He was he always taunted me. He's like, so what are you eating? A bean sprout patty? Yeah, they were good.
He was just the like if you were to look up menace in the dictionary,
It
you
was
could come
him.
up.
It'd be him.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that these were the fun Hollywood version stories. He
Mm.
was a handful, and it was so sweet because when he was locked up, um, one of the letters he wrote me, he was like, I don't know why I did all that dumb shit when I was a kid. He's like, but thank you. He's like, you never told on me for half the foul stuff you caught me doing. I'm like, nah, no, I'm not gonna snitch. I'm not gonna tell on you. But yeah, I just be like, why would you do that?
Mm.
What is this? What's wrong with you?
So
And then he just give you the look, like, because I wanted
you
to.
there was a period of time when you left and you went back to, I believe, Atlanta.
Which period? I'm trying to
Um,
think because yeah, probably Atlanta, yeah, because I go to Philly sometimes, but yeah, Atlanta
you
most of
went
the
to
time.
Atlanta, you had your firstborn,
Yes, yes, Mark,
which was Mark, I believe.
yes.
So what made you take off from the house?
Um, let me see what made me actually. I know there was, well, I had, I had my little trust fund, and nothing kept me still.
Yeah.
Nothing kept me still. Um, I was always on a plane. I used to from New York. I used to catch the what they call them sky bus, which was I don't even know if they still have them. They were like little planes
Mhm.
for short distances.
Mhm.
So I would even get on a sky bus and fly to Philly and just go back and forth to Atlanta because that's where I knew a lot of people. So I know at one point I wasn't certain where I was going to go to college, and everybody in the house was always mad at each other. Uh, Leon and Buddy would go at it sometimes. My mother and Buddy would go at it. Then my mother would be at me, and Chaka's knocking the door down. And then the dog would just look at all of us and he'd be mad at everybody. And I was like, I'm at that age now where I can just up and go.
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
just up and go. So I went to Atlanta. I had thought about going to Spelman at one point, college. And so I believe the first time I left home, that was my idea. I was going to go to Atlanta and I was like, well, maybe I'll just go to Atlanta for a while and maybe I'll start school there but yeah, I don't think it was anything definitive at that point. I just know I could, you know what I mean? I could just up and go. And it was like I wasn't certain, you know,
Mm.
which I'm glad you said that, which I keep looking back and I'm like, like you said, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, I'm like, you left at the dumbest time. You left when LL and everybody was blowing up. And like a lot of the kids from the dance studio were like in the videos. And like, I didn't even know until I read um, P's book about like when he was saying something about Ashanti's mother, Tina.
Mhm.
He mentioned her, and I was like, wait, that was Tina? Like, I didn't even know, to be honest, I didn't even know, because when you're a kid, you take a lot of stuff for granted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize like a lot of the advantages I had, like, the invitation to Quincy Jones's house for Christmas holiday. My mom was like, "Oh, you're gonna leave me on Christmas." Okay, mother, I won't go. It wasn't even a big deal. I look back at all of these opportunities and the doors that were open and the people that I was around, and it's like I didn't I didn't care. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
didn't care. It was just my life,
Mhm.
I was looking into the as I was writing my own book, I like to fact check also because sometimes, our memories, you might have dates wrong or
Yeah.
timelines. So, or locations. So I was looking up the art school that I went to in Syosset, New York. And I was like, Oyster Bay? I'm like, wait. I'm like, yeah, Mother and Buddy did have a property out there on the Hamptons, in the Hamptons. And I'm like, I didn't care back then. Like, you know what I mean? You're not even thinking of all this great stuff and the opportunity. And I'm just saying, like, I left at a time where it would have benefited me differently. I would have been a different person if I had stayed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's all for a reason. I can't,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
rewrite time, but it's still, you can't rewrite history rather. But yeah, I left at a really strange time, at the time where everything was all the things and the people I were around, a lot of stuff was being stirred up, entertainment wise. Yeah.
Um, the new Mob album. I heard Havoc talking about it today on the Drink Champ podcast. P is on every single track on the album.
Whew, P left a
Um,
lot. Yes,
I,
he left a lot.
I know we left a comment about it's bittersweet because it could be the very last time we get an actual Mobb Deep album.
Yeah.
What are your hopes in this new Mob album? Like for me as a fan, I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, I wish this one, and this one is on the album.
Hmm.
Because I'm looking at it like if this is the final Mob album, I want to see this one, this one, this one, and this one.
Yeah.
What are you hoping when the album actually comes out? What are you as a fan of Mobb Deep hoping to get with this album?
Um, I'm pretty sure it's going to be top tier.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
What I'm hoping is for that it's going to, as I say, resurrect his music as a whole. I'm hoping that it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be, you know, phenomenal. And I'm hoping that it's going to not just be phenomenal, but that it's going to, because as you said, he's on all the tracks, right?
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's going to open up the door of all things Prodigy. I'm hoping it's going to, and I believe it will, because as I say, I don't, you know, I mean, it's been some years, but I don't personally like the silence.
yeah. Well, it's
So
been how long has it been since a Mobb Deep album?
Okay.
Like, when did I think, if I remember correctly, Black Cocaine was the last one that came out, and that was
yeah, yeah, and it's been, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's going to break the silence because it's been, as you see, I try my best to play songs that, a lot. I get people like often like I never even heard that.
yeah,
Or oh, I forgot about that one. I like to play like the rare stuff
yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah.
you know. Um, and I think, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And I think I'm looking at it from a sister standpoint also, not just a fan, but I would like to, like I said, bring the
Yeah.
noise, bring the awareness because there's a whole new generation of music connoisseurs. And I want that appreciation to be in everyone's ears. I want it to be at the forefront again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
if you were to have one thing to say to all of P's fans, I know your objective is to carry on his legacy and improve his legacy. What would you say to his fans?
I would say to his fans, first of all, thank you for showing him the love that they showed him. Like he's got some diehard fans that like they really care. Like I can't even scratch the surface on the type of inboxes I get. I thank them for caring. I thank them for like, when they say please don't stop, they say it a lot. And can you repeat the question so that I'm
If you
clear?
were to have a message to send out to his fans in
Okay.
terms of what your objective is, um,
Okay.
I guess, do you feel like the objective is never completed? Because in terms of carrying on a legacy, you're you're essentially sticking to you're going to just carry it on for the rest of your time.
Yeah.
So a message to his fans, what can they expect from you in the future from this point on?
To be honest, I'm hoping to get this story, Buddy's story,
Mm-hmm.
Chaka's story. I want it to become, excuse me, something, I want it to be like a series, some type of, I want it to be, I wanted them to be known as these people who really put their heart into, like, Buddy was a singer also. He was in
Yeah, he was
the
in a jazz
Chanters. Yeah,
band, correct?
yeah, yeah. And they did a lot they did a lot in the industry. They did a lot. Like, Bernice Johnson's dancers, they went on to do amazing things. She was a female Alvin, known as the female Alvin Ailey. So I want what I hope for in the future, and I'm pushing for it now, is to get this picked up on a different level so that if it's not you know, even like I don't know, how do they call it? Like fictitious type story, but I want their story to be seen and known and watched. I want people, when they hear Bud Johnson, like the fans, they know what R.I.P. Bud Johnson is. They know it. They know when you see those words, they know what that means, right? I want it to be real to the people. I want their story to be so phenomenal, so phenomenally known. Does that make sense? Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Oh,
I
perfect.
want it to
Yes.
be, yeah, I want people to, like people know the story of Al Capone. People know the story of, so many people. I want their story to just not be, oh, some people in the past who did music.
Yeah, yeah.
I want it to be like, no, this legacy is hard. It goes hard. This is real. These people really did something. They laid a foundation. They set a lot in motion. Buddy, people could judge Buddy, right? I tried to paint that picture. I tried to paint the picture of Buddy in a sympathetic way, if you noticed,
Yeah.
right? I wanted the people to understand him aside from, you know, an absent father who taught his son tough stuff. I wanted them to see, no, this was a man who was purposeful with what he taught his son, with what he did in life, with what he taught me, with what he did with us, right? Because we're all humans. I don't care if you're a parent, you're a rapper, whatever. We're human beings. We have our own demons, right? I want them to be seen for who they were. Like I said, their contribution, you know, Key's story from where he came from as a little kid. He's just like the rest of us. He's born,
Yeah.
right? So that's the message. I would love for them to read the book. And I also want it to be, because everyone doesn't read, but I also want it to be somewhere where you can watch this story and really see and appreciate these people for who they are and their contributions. I think it's a disservice for their story not to be told, as many people go to the grave and their stories never told. So that's why, like I said, I feel honored to even be able to do this, you
So,
know.
with that being said, would you say I'll never say when it comes to honoring somebody, the mission is accomplished.
Mhm.
But would you say that there's a lot more to come?
A lot more to come. If I have my way, if I have my way, yes.
And you talk about, Buddy being an absent father, but I think absence is one thing, but it's the time spent that counts.
Do you
And
hear him speak? Have you heard him speak of him? Yes. He doesn't speak of him in the negative. He was always like, I miss him. I love him. He was so ill. My pops was everything, right?
And I think that a lot of people view it as the time spent is what is valued over the time away, for whatever the reason is.
Yeah,
That time spent, it just seems like Buddy really was that loving family father,
yeah.
and you definitely projected your story in such a positive light.
Thank you.
And honestly, it was, again, I used to, you know, in grade school, I would read the description of the book on the back and try to formulate my own stories.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually, this is the first book I've ever read start to finish.
Thank you.
And
Wow.
I can't wait to get the next version.
Thank you.
Because I know you're
Yeah,
working
Buddy
on
was,
a copy.
yes, I am. Buddy was, I just want to throw that in. He was so adamant. That's another, like when I say about regrets, he was so adamant that I look after Chaka. He was so adamant. He was like, not just look after him. You know, when he was younger, it was like, look after him. You know, you need to get your butt to New York. Like, you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like, he'll listen to you. You know, because at one point it was like he's not listening to anybody. Of course, that's at that age. And why would he? Who's he going to listen to? Mom? Grandmom? You know what I mean? Dad, who's not really there. Everybody went everywhere else. So, and he was like, you need to go. He'll listen to you. But throughout life, he made sure he let both of us know, y'all need to stay connected. You need to stay connected. You're always going to need each other.
Yeah.
So even in his absence, you know what I mean? It was physically absent, but he made sure
It
he
was
did
still a
his
great.
best. Yes, he made
Yeah.
sure he did his best to implement all that he could.
On that note, we're gonna do another shot for P, for Buddy, for Leon, for Brittany, for Fatima,
Yeah,
and anybody else that has lost somebody
yes.
that they care about. And we need some jelly beans.
Yes.
It's salute.
Cheers, guys.
This this has been a super super special podcast, Loretta. We can't thank you enough for joining us.
Yes, I'm so
Um,
happy to have done it. Thank you so much. Thank
Jelly
you for
beans.
having me.
I
Jelly beans.
I want to
I
do this
love,
again.
The jelly beans.
I'd love to. I'd love
Um,
to.
I think a lot of Prodigy's fans have the same goal that you have in
Hmm.
terms of keeping his legacy alive.
Yes.
They know the stories, they know who's who,
Yeah.
and anything you ever need of us, we got you.
I appreciate that.
Um, this was honestly an honor to sit down and talk to you about a lot of this untold intimate stuff.
Yeah.
Um, we pretty much went through a bottle of Hennessy.
Funny. Look at
Um,
that. You really did.
yeah, no, we did. Um, there's just so much to talk about, and
Yeah.
how do you fit it into a few hours, you know?
Yes. But I appreciate you did. You did very well. We did. I love this.
Um, our mission is the same as your mission.
Thank you.
Where this was very organic and genuine.
Yeah.
Um, we got the first dibs on your first podcast.
Yes, you did.
Your first,
I've been for the last few years, I get people asking me and I'm like, when it feels right, I'll do it.
yeah,
And this time I was like, yeah, yeah. I
and
want to thank you for shouting out Brittany. I thank you. I really appreciate that too, because I
well,
know she's not like in the story a lot, but I really appreciate that.
the whole purpose is to find meaning, right?
Yes.
And to share stories, and that's the whole premise of this podcast is. Again, I say it's not we feature a cigar and a drink that we're going to drink and smoke, but we're not about we're not cigar critics and stuff like that. We're about the stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the type of conversation that if we were to meet in, say, a cigar lounge, we would sit down, have a cigar, and just share
Absolutely.
stories, right? And that's what
Yeah.
the premise of this is about. And it's been a huge honor. Like
Thank you.
honestly, from me as a kid, growing up listening to Mobb Deep through my teenage years, and the impact like Infamy had on me in my teenage years and stuff like that, and you know, listening to Mobb Deep, not even knowing it was Mobb Deep. So the first time I actually heard Mobb Deep was on New York Undercover. You remember that show?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Love that
And
show.
I was listening to Mobb Deep before I knew they were Mobb Deep because I was just, I believe, 10-ish years old at the time.
Yes.
So it stuck to me, and it's just been, it's been a story of my life. And there's a lot of people out there, if you go to Europe or whatever country, there's a lot of hardcore Prodigy Mobb Deep fans, and there's no limitations to it.
Yes.
They can
Yeah.
come from wealth, they can come from the bottom of the bottom, and I think that's what relates Mobb Deep and their story to everybody else.
Right.
And yeah, it's been like an honor, a pleasure to do this.
Thank you.
And
Same.
I can't wait for the hard copy because I want to see those
Yeah.
photos, because I know you're putting in some
I'm gonna put
unreleased
some.
photos.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a few inserts and a few things in there. Yeah, do a little bit more, a little razzle dazzle.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
can't wait for that one. So as soon as that comes out, we need to get on that one, and I think we need to do a part 2.
I think so. I'd love to. Just
I
let me
think,
know. You have my number. Yeah, let me
yeah,
know.
there's still so much to talk about.
Yes. Yes.
And if you look at our posts, like I always pop in like Mobb Deep music,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
because even though, let's just say, like the cigar world is more like the uppity type world,
Yes.
I'm trying to change that a little bit, because the
Right.
cigar world is a lot of blue collar type people as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'm trying to, well, we're trying to put into what we're doing, that it's a big relation to real life as well.
Absolutely.
It's not about the rich and, you know, pockets and what you can
Yeah.
afford. It's, so we got a movement of our own we're trying to do, and
Okay. Let me know. Yeah.
we've been blessed thus far. And you know what? Let's just do another shot for Pete. That's that bottom. Let's just finish. We're gonna kill off the bottom.
You might as well.
We might as well. We're almost there. I actually
No, there might not be any left for you.
you gotta make sure there's some left.
There might not
That's what
be.
I'm here too.
You put a little sip in his.
I have a t-shirt that my wife made me, and there is a photo of Prodigy in front of this saying, and it says, "God protect my enemies.
Yep.
God
Yep.
protect my friend. I'll take care of my enemies."
That's right. That's
And
right. That's him.
I have a shirt with that. And
Oh man.
salute the Prodigy.
Yes. Yes.
Salute to you. Thank you.
Yep. Thank
And
you
just
so
like
much.
that bottle of Hennessy is done.
Thank you. Yes.
My lover's gonna be happy.
You did it. You emptied it.
Remember what I was saying? I feel better about my life doing this at 4 o'clock instead of 11 a.m.
It made more sense, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like an alcoholic at 11 a.m., whereas now I feel a bit more okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
But
Yes, absolutely.
we don't want to take up your whole day.
Okay. I really appreciate you guys. I really
We-
do.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We're, again, thank you so much for this. This was a heartfelt podcast for myself.
Hmm.
I know with these guys as well. We all grew up listening to hip hop and Mobb Deep, and
Yep.
we all
Yeah.
come from various points of the city.
Okay.
and Mobb Deep relates to us in our personal lives. And we're gonna continue carrying that legacy of Prodigy. And we're gonna do this again.
Yes, absolutely. Part two.
Part two is coming.
Yes.
And again, for those people watching the podcast, remember, you want to enter the giveaway, make sure you follow Cigar Talk Toronto, infamoussis. You go and comment on the promo video, infamous till the name wear out, and you're entered in the contest. You're going to win a whole bunch of goodies. And this is just our thank you to P and his fans.
Yes.
And get
Thank
the
you.
fucking book.
Yes,
Most of us.
yes,
Seriously, if I can read it, you can read it.
yes. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's just gonna, it's so, I wanted to make sure it was eye-opening too.
It
You know?
was.
Thank you.
It was.
This whole conversation was really eye-opening. It
Thank
painted
you.
or showed me another side of Prodigy that I wasn't aware of.
Really?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And his family and his crew, and you know, it was amazing. We definitely have
Yes.
to do this again.
And
Thank
shout out
you.
to Big Twins, Godfather Part 3, Time Nitty, Big Noid.
Absolutely.
You
Love
know,
those
that's
guys.
the core crew. Shout out to Havoc.
Yes,
They continue to carry his legacy. You look
they
at
do.
Ty Nitty and Big Twins, like they're constantly
They are
key.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I can't talk about much on air, but you know, I've had some interactions with Big Twins, and you know,
Yeah, Twin is the truth, isn't he?
twin
It's,
is twin. Yeah,
that's he's the truth. That's good people right there.
I need to
Yes.
try his weed and his beer.
Yes.
He's got his own.
Yeah.
His
I
own
can only
beer.
imagine. I can
Yeah.
only imagine. Yes.
But I can't speak more on that because you know, no snitches here. But great people. He was surrounded by great people. They're
Yes.
great people.
Thank you.
And you know, let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As a fan, thank you for everything you're doing.
Yes. And thank you so much for caring enough, about him and his legacy to do this, because you don't have to do it, and I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for getting the book. Thank you for having me. And really, more so than all of that, really from the bottom of my heart, thank you for doing this for him.
It's surreal to a degree. Like I was talking to my wife, and it's like you grow up listening to these people, and then in the modern day times, you get to actually interact and carry on conversations with them, and it's like shit.
Yes.
You know, like it's surreal. Like
Yes.
I communicate with certain people on a regular, and you know, even Ty Nitty promotes our podcast on his page and stuff. And
Yeah,
once he
he's
settles his ass down, we're gonna get him on the podcast.
yeah, that would be so cool. He's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be nice. It'd be very
and
nice.
you could see the influence of P and all them,
Yes. Yep.
how they view life and how they carry
Mm-hmm.
themselves, and it's
There's a
just
serious
perfect.
brotherhood. Yes,
Yeah,
serious brotherhood and communication and conversation and yeah,
it's a
yeah,
perfect example how to carry yourself as a man in this modern day world,
yes.
and not buy into the bullshit, right?
You're so right. Yeah.
And
Yes.
we got a lot of big plans in the future, and
Yeah.
again, infamous till the name wear out.
That's right.
On
That's
that
right.
note,
Infamous
Loretta,
till the name wears out. Yes.
exactly. Thank you so much. We salute you,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and it's been a blessing. And we'll talk.
Okay. Yeah, hit
All
me
right.
up. Hit me up.
Yeah,
We'll do
for
part
sure.
two.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're part of the family now.
Thank you. Thank
Definitely.
That's
you.
great. We'll always
Thank you
have
so
jelly
much.
beans here for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
No,
I love
I'm
it.
telling you, from now on, every podcast we do, we're gonna have the thing of jelly beans.
Oh,
One
okay. I'm
hundred
not gonna
percent.
get emotional again. Thank
And
you. I love that.
when we say something, we stand on it. So these jelly beans are gonna be here every single
I
podcast.
love it. I
Maybe
love it. I
before we
love
go.
it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I won't go there. I won't get started again, but that's beautiful. I love
We'll get
that.
started in part two.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
Okay. There we go.
definitely, Loretta,
There
we're
we go.
definitely gonna do this again. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot more
Yes, we
stories to
do.
share.
Yes.
I can't wait to see your growth and progress and your mission.
Thank you.
And as a human being, thank you very much. And on
You're
that
more than
note,
welcome. Yes.
salute.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I give thanks to the creator cause my life is blessed. And I wish all the haters nothing but the best. This is infamous till the name wear out, the clock run out, the sun burn out, and all hell freezes over. When Babylon fall, I'll be by the shoulder of the Most High, laughing my balls off like good riddance. Till then, I'll be in the soup kitchen cooking up shit like this for poverty stricken. Underprivileged brothers and sisters, we soldiers of the global resistance. Forgive me for being late, I was going through some things. I had to come of age and go through growing pains. You don't realize what you got till it's gone. I had to lose it all to see what I was doing wrong. I was stripped bare down to my soul and burnt out. Then rose like a phoenix through the fire. These people get fat while we starve and go through hell. Nobody looking for no handout, we offer our skills in return for a little scraps and on the glass. I seen you laugh when I turn my back. They say revenge is a sweet dish, best served cold. But fuck that, I need mines fresh off the stove. Yeah, it's best served cold, but fuck that, I need mines fresh. My stomach touching my spine.